Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. Our guest, Cindy Kaza, is a little behind, but we're here with Lauren Rainbow. Hi, we're Lauren. I just want to say hi to you, and we have a special guest waiting to be read to celebrate Halloween with you. Welcome, Lauren, to the Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Wait, Susan, we're having some trouble. Hold on, having some trouble connecting with this. 1 second.
Well, everything looks pretty good over here. What?
No, I'm having.
What's wrong?
Yeah. Some weird issues over here. Hold up.
It's probably my mother. Thanks, Mom.
I don't know what's going on. I just came in from the vessel from outside. I just came in, and there's something goofy, crazy. I can't even explain what's going on. There's like something like crashed into the vessel. It's super nutty. I don't know how to make sense of it.
What?
And you got to hear this straight from me. Something like a cigar shape, football shape, or something hit the vessel. And Brian O'Shea, never a good sign, is blowing up my phone.
Oh my God!
So
Answer
Brian,
it.
okay, Brian, you there? Brian,
Brian, can you hear us?
Oh,
yeah, sorry, my phone keeps going in and out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm in Salem, Massachusetts, and there's something really weird. You know, I don't even know what this is. I was in military intelligence for a long time. I saw a lot of weird stuff. I even saw the Pink Hat Rebellion. But this is bizarre, man. It honestly, it looks like a bunch of ETs, like better looking ones, but they seem to be running all over the city.
Hey, listen, I know I may be dressed like Orson Welles, but what's going on here? The fact is, I was at the front. They told us to sort of shelter in place, go back to our apartment, stay right here. So here we are. So we're going to stay here.
Yes.
Makes me nervous. They
Oh my
said the
gosh.
same thing on 9/11, stay in the building, but here we are.
Oh my gosh! Where's Cindy? I hope she's okay. Oh my
Yes,
God!
even CNN's
Let me see if I
calling
can
it
get a
out,
hold of her.
They're breaking
CNN.
through. I know, crazy. So get Cindy. Can you get her on the phone?
Hold on. Let me see. I'm
Or
having
can
a
you
hard
text
time.
her? Text her.
My phone's acting up. Okay, hold on.
If she can get in the building, she can better tell us what's up.
Yeah,
there,
she
so.
hasn't. She hasn't reached out. Gosh, I hope she's okay.
Brian, are you there with Naomi? Is she on Zoom yet?
I know she's our guest today. Did you know that she's our guest today?
I'm right here.
That really is not top of my priorities right now.
Okay, got it.
Naomi,
It's true.
just a second. Naomi,
Well, that's
get
not
back in the
very
bunker.
nice.
Get back in the bunk. I don't
Okay,
know what that is outside.
okay,
Don't forget the
sweetheart.
TWC
I don't
emergency
believe you
kit and the
guys.
Heaven's
This-
Harvest.
Okay.
Are you okay, Naomi? Where
Um,
are you?
Wait a minute. Okay.
I am okay, but I'm terrified.
Okay. Are you got supplies and everything? You're going in the bunker. You're good, right, Brian?
At the season, I'm sorry, the beef crumble, not the eggs. Yeah, no, we're good for now. I've got everything I need. The dog is with us. I got Naomi, and we have some optimizers to help us with our sleep. So yeah, we're good for now.
So, Brian, I'm absolutely terrified. I've never seen anything like this happen in my life. I understand that someone named Cindy is supposed to alert me.
Wait,
Has
Cindy's coming in, right? Wait, hold on a second, Naomi. Is Cindy coming?
Cindy, I hope. I don't know. I can't get a
heard
hold of her.
I hear knocking. So
Oh.
I'll get her. Okay, go.
Oh my God!
what should I do, Brian? You're so good at
Oh my
at
God,
keeping people
I'm so
safe,
glad
but this
you're
is so
okay.
frightening.
Well, I mean, what you should have done
What
was
the
use
hell
that
is going
Daily
on?
Clout promo
Seriously,
code when you bought that
there's
stuff,
spacecraft out there.
and we could have
There's
saved
UFOs
10%.
there. It's madness out there.
Cindy just said she saw
It's so
a
crazy.
large aircraft on the vessel, and there's some weird glow.
But nobody's gotten out yet. We haven't seen any aliens yet. But I'm telling you, it's madness out there.
Do you think they're friendly?
I don't think they're here to do any harm. But I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. People are going crazy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So, Brian, what are we going to do? What are we supposed to do?
Shelter in place. I mean, I don't really know your guys' situation here, but we're in our bunker. I got Naomi, and I don't know. There's some. They look like they're actually flying in the air. I don't even know what the hell this is.
I don't know.
I feel like Cindy is supposed to sense whether they're coming back to haunt those who once burned them, or
Well, I mean, I'm sure they are. Wouldn't you want to? I mean, everything's crazy right now. I would want to.
Wait, Paulina's on the line. Hold on, she just hung up. Oh, well, I lost her. Anyways, I'm really concerned for everybody, and I just want everybody to find a safe haven and also understand that we're under attack at Hudson Yards, and we're also looking at some flying objects in Salem, Massachusetts. So I'm assuming that they're...
Somebody said something about bitches.
oh yeah, well, honestly, now that I have heard that Cindy thinks these beings are coming back to haunt those who once burned them, I just want to express that I'm fine, and I want to check that my husband's okay. Honey, are you okay?
I'm good. I'm
witches.
getting blasted by some sound here.
Okay, they're witches, sweetheart. I saw it on Fox News. The witches.
They're witches.
They're witches. The witches have taken over Salem. And I'm not saying all women are witches. I'm saying these chicks have taken to flying on brooms and are wreaking havoc over Salem.
I don't think it's.
No,
I don't
she
think
said
we should be calling them
not
bitches.
bitches. Oh
Oh.
my God. Okay, so all I can say is it's got to be China. This has got to be China. So happy Halloween, everybody. Here's to terror in the streets. Hope you have a really safe and sound Halloween. Don't drink and drive. Have a good time with the kids, and don't eat too much candy, or you'll get diabetes. So have a great Halloween. I know that was the best acting job I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, welcome to Calling Out with Susan.
That was about as good as I could.
I mean, it really was.
It
Wasn't bad.
Anyways, Paulina was calling me, but it wouldn't come through. Ironically, the phone wouldn't answer. But Paulina, I'd just like to welcome Paulina Pinsky to the episode Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, the Alien Ascension episode written by none other than Paulina Pinsky.
Apologies
Thank you,
for what we
everybody.
did to your script.
Sorry, Paulina.
No,
Sorry,
it's
Paulina.
okay. I always like a loose interpretation of my words, so you brought it to life.
We got going. I'm like, oh, this is never gonna work. This is gonna be terrible.
I thought it worked. I called Mom to bring in my chopped scene.
Tried.
Actually, I didn't get to do my acting debut. No, but it was
I
perfect
know.
because it worked.
Okay.
The phone didn't work.
She's
yeah.
like,
So
there's 7 amateurs, 12 locations, a professional script, and I thought, oh, this is no.
I didn't realize how long it was. Okay, but anyways,
I thought it had a lot of charm.
Yeah,
I thought it showed a lot of dramatic tension.
I know there's a lot of stress going into this. Drew was probably the most stressful one. He looked up to see if it was illegal to do a parody of a disaster on TV. He was trying to get out of it.
Oh, wow.
right?
Yeah, I was worried about that too. Yeah, I was worried. Can I use siren sound effects?
What have you roped us into, Susan? We're all going to jail, Susan.
I'm assuming that everybody
No.
could tell that it wasn't true and that we're terrible actors.
So that you should not believe everything you see.
Yeah, did anybody see
Exactly.
Drew's Larry King suspenders? It's supposed to look like Orson Welles. Yeah.
Orson
That was the whole
Welles.
idea. Anyways, welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. I just want to thank my team of performers here today, and thanks for. It's Halloween. I'm actually doing a show on Halloween, and with none other than my good friend, medium Cindy Kaza, whom I have known for probably 8 years.
More
10
than
years.
that. No, like
14.
12 years. I think 12 years now.
Like 15 now.
Oh my gosh, maybe, yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, we started the show in 2014, and you were in the first year.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it's
so
been
10.
about 10 years.
12.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I'm just really fortunate to have you as a friend, and I've watched your career bloom over the years. Also Lauren Rainbow, she's in the house.
Lauren Rainbow.
Yes, she's out there. Can we do a cut screen with us somehow, Kaleb, so we can have her on so I can say nice things about her too, because she's also a psychic medium. But starting with Cindy, she's a world-renowned psychic medium and artist, best known for her work on the travel channels, The Dead Files. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have seen that.
Holzer files.
Drew's our background. Yeah,
Tasha.
he's our eye candy back there. And she also was on the Holzer Files and Ghost of a Devil's Perch. Now, I didn't see Ghost of the Devil's Perch.
Yeah.
Was that good?
Yeah, sure.
That was fun. Anyway, she was great on the Holzer Files. And if you don't know the Holzer Files, it's a great format. They look up some history of some haunted areas, and they have this detective who goes into the full background history of it. And then they bring Cindy in to, oh, hi, Lauren. Sorry. Just want to say hi. There's a spider on your head, I think. I don't know. So anyways,
gosh.
I'm looking at that. She goes in and you're an evidential clairvoyant medium, right?
Well, I mean, I'll just say medium. Evidential, medium, we say that. It's just kind of describing the training that I had with the spiritualist. But
Right.
Just say
So
medium.
she goes
Yeah.
in, she sees like people dying or bad things that happen, and what's really crazy is that she's always spot on with whatever the history is that they found in these houses. And you haven't seen the Holzer Files yet, I would definitely watch it. It was one of my favorite shows during the
Susan.
pandemic, and also before that. But I like the way they format it, and they actually use psychics in a way that it's just so informative. And there are haunted places in the world.
Absolutely.
And I kind of creeped her out a lot, but she does get a little bit creeped out sometimes when stuff happens. But because I asked you. But anyways, she travels around the world now, providing people with evidence and messages from the other side. And you can check her out at her website, Medium Cindy Kaza, and that's Kaza. And then she travels to India and Indonesia and all over the place and works with shaman. And the last time she was on the show, she showed us the dead corpses that people keep in their living room, which I found to be really interesting if you want to see the previous episode. But she likes that kind of thing, and I appreciate that about her. And then also, Lauren, I want to welcome you. She's a new face to the show, Lauren Rainbow. I had a psychic reading from her recently.
Hi.
And she's quite profound in her mediumship. She brought through somebody that nobody knows about. And she is internationally also known as an evidential psychic medium, spiritual teacher, best-selling author, and sacred travel guide. Not only has she developed best-selling mediumship training deck, but she also leads people to retreats and connect with sacred sites around the world. That's what she and Cindy are doing together. So if you want to go to a sacred site somewhere around the world, they put a little travel kit together for you. For more information, find her at laurenrainbow.com. Very straightforward. They got the right, what do you call it, Kaleb?
The .com.
Yeah. You go to .com.
I had to buy mine back. I let it lapse by mistake, and somebody bought my syndicated.com. Then I had
Oh
to
my
pay like
God.
$3,000 to buy my name back. Jerks.
Witches.
Yep.
What
So
can I
terrible.
say?
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I hope you guys were entertained by that opening. I don't know.
I won an Oscar.
You actually did really well. I don't know why I'm election postponed. Somebody just said something just popped up on my screen. Anyways, oh God, I hope that's not true. Anyways, we have a brilliant guest to be read today, but before I mention her, I want to mention her male half, who is a really good friend of mine, Brian O'Shea. Let's bring Brian on. He's not going to be getting a reading today because he's letting his wife have it. But anyways, Brian, can we see Brian? Is he alive?
He's there, but he's using his photo.
Oh, hi, Brian. He
How's it going?
He has
There we
a
go.
vast knowledge of global intelligence. He's the host of Investigate Everything, and you can find him on Rumble and Substack. You can find him at the Daily Cloud, and also he did 11 years active duty, and he also likes to scare the shit out of me with China.
Oh my
So
God.
That's why all the roads lead back to China. It was a joke, okay? I know everybody thinks I'm silly, but yeah, we are now friends. I can say, maybe not after this, but the check's in the mail. I'll be, sending you some Paleo Valley beef sticks and bone broth very soon. And so, anyways, I just want to thank you. Is there anything else I need to plug for you where we can find your work? Because they're super busy and super
No, just
fun to...
just head over to Rumble and follow Investigate Everything on Daily Clout and Daily Clout itself. And please pick up your copy of the Pfizer papers on all your major booksellers. I'll let Naomi talk about that.
Yes. This is why they're here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Brian go. You can stay on, though, if you want to listen, because we do have some interesting things we might talk about later. And if you just feel like chiming in, let me know. If not, you can go live your life, too. But
No,
so
hang out.
we're going to...
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, hang out. It's going to be fun. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in the guest, and she's going to work with Lauren spiritually because, she's Cindy's go-to here. I
love Lauren Rainbow.
Yeah. And they work well together. There won't be any witch fests over here. So we're going to also quickly mention that Robin is here. She's my producer in California, and she's on camera too. And speaking of witches, maybe we can do a quick.
Hi, Robin.
Robin is our witch producer today. So.
Hey, hi everyone.
So okay, hi.
Hey y'all.
Naomi. I'm going
Hey,
to.
can you hear me? I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this
We're
reading.
going to launch into that now since we got the witch producer off. So here we go. I'm tuning out. We're going to get you on, Lauren and Cindy Kaza.
Lauren's going first.
Oh, hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, beautiful. Well, Naomi, I'm excited to connect for you today and see what wants to come through for you from spirit and perhaps a little other intuitive information that may come forward to you. So Naomi, as I get ready to reach out, I always say be open to everybody you know who's in spirit, but hopefully we'll really connect with those that you most know. And I'm going to start with two folks that I sense are coming forward. I do feel a woman who wants to come in, and I know kind of briefly, just a second ago, I heard the word grandmother. So I don't know if this is grandmother, but let me give you some feelings of what I'm sensing.
Okay.
I do see a lovely lady who wants to step in, and she does have that feeling, gosh, she comes in quite quick, and I feel like she had a lot of energy, first and foremost, when she was here in her life. I get the sense that she got to be a good age when she passes to the spirit. So I feel like she lived to her elderly time or heading into that part of her life and she passes to the spirit. And I feel like I want to stand around mother or mom's side of the family here as she steps forward. The other thing I know, Naomi, she seems to always put her hand on your shoulder as though she wants to have acknowledged a strong sense of looking over you in almost all of your life. And I feel like she, for a woman of her generation, comes through very strong and independent in who she was here in the living. There's a gentleman that stands with her in the spirit, but I feel like I'm looking to a different side of the family there. So before I go fully there, Naomi, I want to spend a few more moments with this woman and bring some more. But do you understand any of this so far?
Literally everything you just said.
Okay. And would you understand this as your mother's mother, perhaps?
Yes, that's exactly who that is.
Beautiful. And you understand that she has a very strong matriarchal role in her family. Like, I feel like I am the go-to woman. And again, especially when she comes and stands with you, I feel like there was almost a more than a granddaughter, like a daughter-like sense here, that the two of you would have been always quite close with each other. So you understand that?
That's absolutely, yes. I mean, yes.
Beautiful. Yes. And would you get the sense, again, I'm not trying to replace your mother's role in your life, but she feels like there was a huge part in this woman as she speaks. She gives me the sense that I took good care of you.
Yes.
And I feel like
yes.
She protects you even in the living side of your life here. There was always this wanting to stand in front and made sure that you had all the tools that you had in your life. So I don't know if that was even helping with things like education or kind of helping you move forward with that way, but that's a feeling she feels feels very selfless about, but also feels like she would have tried to support in many ways. Can you receive that?
Yes. I mean, just a note, for my mom's sake, definitely in how can I put it, as a protector, as a matriarch, as a guide, as a professional mentor, absolutely exactly as you're describing. Not exactly kind of squishy maternal, but more like a role model, a mentor, a protectress. Yes.
I think you just kind of helped me out with something, because she had this sense, and I keep wanting to say for a woman of her generation, I feel like she was forward thinking.
Oh, gosh, she was an absolute pioneer.
You understand that, okay? Because I do. I feel like I'm looking at a woman who's very forward thinking, that she was able to even, speak her own truth in her own mind. Yes. And I get goosebumps when I feel like she comes from a time where, I don't know if it's even like protesting or, speaking out, advocating. Like, I feel like she used her voice in her youth in a way that kind of opened up major doors around, life, women, things like that. Can you understand
Literally,
that?
exactly. She brought birth control to the Sacramento Valley for migrant agricultural working women. She was one.
Yeah, don't tell too much.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that. Okay, everything you're saying is true. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect, Naomi. Thank you.
Go ahead.
The other thing I get here is this sense of creating the foundations that kind of set you forward in your life. She really feels like I'm handing you a torch to carry, and that you carry this torch with her heart always in mind. Do you understand that feeling?
1,000%.
Okay. I also feel like when she steps in here, I want to talk about how she looks for a moment, because I feel like she always had this, I don't know if it's a power suit look or, but I feel like she's a woman in like this really sharp power suit kind of look and feel, maybe almost like Jackie O styled hair, very elegant looking. At the same time, I feel like she's also not afraid to kind of be the woman who can get her hands dirty, fix things. So she has this really important business feeling and speaker kind of energy. But I feel like when she's home, she's relaxed. I'm doing ordinary life things, and kind of having these moments where she's truly just being a mom was also as equally important to her versus the person that she became also in her life and journey. Would you understand that?
I do. I'm not supposed to respond. I'm just supposed to say
You can. Just let me know if it makes sense. Yeah, yes or no. And I think they'll have you maybe share a little bit of this after. And I get the impression here that one of the things I want to talk about for you, Naomi, is that she steps in and puts her hand on your shoulder. I really get the sense that she's kind of giving me a feeling to nudge you forward again.
Oh my God.
You've kind of, I hear that. Oh my God, no. I feel like you've been in a lull or taking a break. If you understand what I mean by that. I feel like you've either tried to step back from parts of your life or maybe trying to take a small, gentle break here, but she's kind of tapping you on the shoulder and letting me kind of gently whisper, your work's not done yet. And I feel part of the biggest part of your life and work is really just about ahead of you right now. But you've been blazing a path this whole time, okay? And so that's something I feel is really interesting. Now, what's strange thing, Naomi, is I used to be a journalist back in the day. And she keeps showing me like the old-fashioned journal news, the little news books that journalists would carry where they're writing their little notes down. She shows me one of those little tiny skinny notebooks. And it's specifically to me that there's a connection of writing and in these little, I think, journalistic form, like short, quick, story-like ideas, because she's showing me like this idea in journalism, newspaper days, we used to have to keep it like to a certain column. And I feel like she's kind of keeping in mind like simple, short, to the point concepts is something that she sees is something you excel at. Do you understand that feeling?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. And Cindy, are we double linking? Or are you checking in on do I throw this over to you?
No, go ahead. You're on a roll, so go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know let me know if you want to step in on any of this, because I know Cindy probably has a few feelings. But the other feeling I want to share real quick also is I feel like there's a gentleman that stands with her in the spirit. So I'm not done with your grandma, but I want to understand this other gentleman real quick. And I do feel like I'm on father. I want to say this is actually perhaps more father. or a gentleman who comes through on that side of the family. He feels a little bit younger in the age that he passes Naomi, 60s, maybe 70s, an earlier elderly side. And I feel like he had a bit of a strong demeanor. He's kind of giving me a very serious look. Like I think he could be lovingly intimidated, but a very intellectual gentleman in many ways. And he lights up his chest. So I feel like I'm looking at struggles around the heart with this man as well. Can you understand any of that so far?
I mean, there's an intellectual father figure in my life, but I was not aware of problems with his chest. Excuse me, at least physically.
When he passes to the spirits. We don't know about that part, but do you know it's an illness passing?
Do I know his illness? He had Parkinson's.
I'm sorry, Naomi. No, I meant, do you know that he passes from an illness versus other forms of passing, like an accident of some sort?
I mean, he passed from an illness, but he was incredibly old.
Okay, so let me give a touch more here. If I just want to make sure we're talking about the right gentleman, would you understand if he was on the older side? He either looked mostly well for his years, or had aged, I think, more gracefully. Can you receive that from him?
Can I just ask you something? There's someone in my extended family who is a father figure who did die of a heart attack or heart damage.
Okay.
He died somewhat older than you described, but he could have been giving you a serious look. Those are the only two people I can think of.
Okay, so I'll bring a little bit more, as long as you can start to flow where I'm going here. And sometimes the age, I try to give their exact age, but they look sometimes younger than they. You know what I mean? Right. But the one thing I know, this gentleman feels heavily intellectual. Even the way that he's sitting here is almost like he had a very laid back, like I can feel him sitting back in a chair. I've got suit pants on. I've got my legs crossed, but I feel like I'm really, always with my head in a lot of different ideas and concepts. And I feel like a lot of pressure sits on him. Big decisions to make, or I don't know if I'm leading corporations, but he feels like a lot of pressure weighed his shoulders down, but he takes it so calmly. Can you understand that?
I mean, elements of what you're describing could be someone I know.
Okay. And I'll try to, do you understand a Bill William connection? Living or departed in relation around this, or
I mean, wow. Well, Bill is the name of my husband's deceased father, who did die in his 70s.
Okay, and so I know that Brian's technically not in on supporting, but sometimes we get a little bit of a crosswave. So maybe Naomi, if you knew this gentleman,
I never did. I never.
You never did. Okay,
he died before I met
Brian, if you just have a little hello there in case that's coming to you, or if you hear some of that and just want to maybe acknowledge that a little bit, because sometimes when I'm in the call, I'm like, oh, so if that's the father figure, and we know there was a heart issue.
Say something. He won't go away until you say, he won't go away until you say, hey, yeah, that's my dad. Okay, so hopefully.
We'll try to hold him back a little.
Still there?
I'm still here, but knowing my dad, he wouldn't respond to me even if he is there, because he like to play tricks on me. So.
Okay. Well, is that the serious look, Brian? Was he kind of, because the way he's sitting here in the corner, is he looking at me like, yeah, let's see how this goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds like him. Always serious look, furrowed brow. That's Bill O'Shea.
Yes. Okay. And lastly here, if I can, so we'll come back to Naomi's grandma, but can I just take a quick second? Brian, thank you for receiving him. Would you understand one last piece there, the heavy decision maker he had to be sometimes?
All the time. 9 kids and 1 stream of income.
Okay, so I thank you for taking a moment to be here with Bill. I just want you to know that he's lovingly proud of you, and he keeps giving me a sense of not being able to always communicate that, but at least wanting to drop in real quick and say that he's quite proud of who you are and where you've gone in this world. Can you receive that?
Yes, definitely. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Brian.
Come on over. Thanks, Emily.
You never know where it's going to go with Spirit. Naomi, I'm coming back to you with your grandma.
I just can't believe what I just heard.
Does that make sense, though? You never know where Spirit's going to take us sometimes. And I always say, if you're on the call, you're fair game to them in many ways. But when I come back to Naomi here with you and your grandmother, who was very patient with me, by the way, for stepping away for that. I think
Brian's dad.
Oh, yeah. Very patient with them. I want to talk briefly as we come back to your grandmother Naomi here. One sense that she kind of shared with me is being the guardian in your life from the spirit world.
Yeah.
So I feel like, well, we have many spirit loved ones up there who guide us and sometimes just come in to say hello. The way she stands with you and has been since her transition, I believe, is a real sense of, I'm here to be your guardian. I'm here to bring the inspiration. As we talked about her giving you the torch earlier to carry forward for her with so much love and grace. I feel like she was so brave right until the end of her journey in life, if you can see that. I think she was quite lovingly surrounded with family as well before she left this world.
Is true.
Yes.
That's very true.
And at the same time, it feels like we are a modest family, you know, maybe not super large, but there's still enough people around her that she felt supported, but not overwhelmed. Because I feel, if you understand, the last parts of her life, she wanted very private. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Or more just family connected with her versus, you know, being around a lot of people.
She was very old when she passed. She was 99 when she passed.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, there's this end of lifetime that is on, remember at the beginning we said she was on her older side. I think she did quite well, Naomi, most of those 99 years, by the way.
Yes.
I think she still had a reasonably strong mind about her.
Yes, she did, for sure.
And she sits here very small, though, in the end of her life.
She's a tiny human.
Yeah,
yes.
I was going to say, she's got a petite, small feeling, and I still see
Miniature.
glasses. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
No, she's just a miniature person.
You get that. And I feel like she has these funny little glasses on her face that I don't know if her eyes were a bit the more challenging part in the end, but she feels that people were always checking in. She had just the right family there. And I think in the end, it's really just old age here for her. It was a peaceful transition. And at the same time, she gives me like this energy over her heart that says, I'm not exhausted anymore.
Oh, wow. Good.
So I feel like she was quite at peace when she left, before she left this world, feeling a bit of accomplishment, by the way. And was your grandfather, her partner, either sometime removed before she passes?
Yes.
Had he gone quite some time before?
Yes, he had.
Yeah.
And she missed him very much.
Yeah,
the rest
I feel
of her
like
life.
she missed him, but she did in her later years. I feel like she enjoyed the family and being kind of out and about in a different way. Okay. And the other piece I feel is she got to travel, this woman. Is that true?
I'm not aware of extensive travel. Some.
Okay. I don't know if it's around the country, but she talks about travel. And I feel for you especially that this is a must. So if you travel yourself a bit or feel like a desire as you go into the second chapter of your life to bring more elements of that in, I feel she's like, take me with you, you know, bring a charm or something of hers to bring her essence with you where you go. And a last piece here I want to kind of check in with is I feel like I'm looking at some sort of a necklace that you may have of hers. And it seems not like a stone, but some kind of a silver pendant. I don't know if it has some carving in it versus like a diamond. Do you understand anything that she's showing here?
I mean, I don't have something like that from my grandma that I can remember, but I do. I did send away for a what is it called? A miraculous medal, which is an engraving of Mary that I felt very in silver that I felt very conflicted about because I'm Jewish. So I don't know if that, she's letting me know that it's okay to.
Well, it's interesting because the way she showed it to me, it was kind of like, it was very clear to me. I'm looking at a medal with scripture or inscribing versus a stone, like someone's diamond that was given, and she felt like this is not only to me, I feel this is a beautiful thing. To bring into your life. But I think when we leave spirit, I feel the walls of religion kind of melt around.
Interesting.
And we all be kind of one, and whatever draws you for love and joy, I feel like they'll honor their original traditions. Like I always say, if a nun's the nun in the living, and she'll come through that way in spirit. But I feel like the walls of that melt away, and it's really more about what brings you love and security in your life. Okay,
great. All right.
Let me check in if there's anything else I feel that wants to step in here. I have one more piece. Mom is still with us. Is that right?
Yeah, thank God.
Her daughter is still here. Yes,
Yeah,
right?
she is.
I mentioned you said something about your mom, and I don't know if we knew that she was here. I feel like I want to surround her with the essence of love as well. And it feels like whatever this your family, your mom's side has a lot of strong. Sometimes we look at the ancestral history here, and I feel like you're literally bred into the blood system with empowered women that go back even beyond her generation.
Yeah. I'm sure that's true.
And I feel like there's something to acknowledge and honor that sense of our woman's heritage in this family. And I feel like while your mom is still here, I hope you know they're going to be sending her lots of love and energy as well. But keep that strong feminine tradition alive and well.
Okay. All right. Okay. This all makes perfect sense.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Let's see if Cindy has any.
It was so crazy because Lauren, I would be like, okay, maybe I'll go in. And then Lauren would say exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I can't say that because Lauren just got it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then let me, so I was trying to like, just really like settle in. And I did see the guy with the heart attack. So when Lauren went there, I was like, oh yeah, I was really picking up on that guy. But then I started seeing this image of being like near a dock, right? I felt like I was a man looking through the eyes of this man who was at the dock. And I feel like there's a connection to Ireland, and I kept seeing these barrels or things like coming in. So I feel like there's some sort of business that was being done at the docks. Do you understand that?
I mean, there is an important dock in the life of someone else who passed away, who was important in my life for some time, but I'm not aware of an Ireland connection. Brian's Irish. I'm not aware of an Ireland connection with his other man or barrels related to a business. But he had a sailboat, and we used to spend the summer sailing on docks.
It wasn't that. It wasn't, because it was definitely like some connection to being Irish. So your husband's family is Irish. Okay, so maybe I was just still kind of on that side, right? Because it was like I felt like I was in New England. Or
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know if Brian's still on the call. Brian grew up in Maine, and there was a long dock at the foot of the land he grew up on.
Oh, good. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, because I was like, this man was just showing me that, and I see him outside, and he's walking on the dock, but I see like these barrels. Now, sometimes I'll see like images inside of scenes to try to get me to other aspects of the person's life, right? So then I was like, well, what's in these barrels? And I'm seeing like beer. I'm seeing like, I feel like this guy would have spent a lot of time at a pub, or people would have known him like that way. Like just everybody kind of knows who this guy is. But I also feel like there's a connection to...
Well, that's true. That's true. Sorry, go ahead.
Right? Like
everyone
it's okay.
knew
So
Bill.
they know
That's who you're thinking of. Yeah.
Oh, so it's still Bill. Okay, good. Because I felt like that's. I
really don't know. I mean, this is a Brian. This seems like a Brian.
Your dad.
Well, let me just get a couple more things out.
It's interesting you said the barrels. If I can.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were still on, Brian. I'm sorry.
You mentioned I wasn't sure if I was being cued. But yeah, the barrels, it's interesting you say that, because he built a bunch of docks and he used these big blue barrels as pontoons to make them float.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
He didn't drink, but he did like to go to the local pubs and, say to all the ladies there that he had 7 sons and they're all available.
Okay, don't tell me anything else. Okay, don't tell me anything else. Okay, because it's like weird, right? So the barrels, right? And then it got us to the pub, and then... the other thing that I was seeing too had to do with this exchange of money, and it felt like he had to pay people off, or there were things that happened to him during his life, like with business, where it just feels like, I don't know, like somebody betrayed him. There's something with finances where he just felt like he had to just take it. Like he couldn't really fight back because of the position that he was in. So do you understand there being another person or man that was like around that area that gave him a really hard time?
Is this for Naomi or for me?
It's for you.
For you.
No, but he did deal with a lot of kind of guys in Brooklyn and the Bronx. Go down there and get like a van
It felt
load
like
of
almost like
stuff to
mafia or
sell.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit mafia.
Fair enough.
He's a bit of an original gangster.
Okay, fair enough. Because I was like, is this mafia? Like, what is it, right? Like, he had to just take it. There's all this stuff with money. But I also keep sensing that, where am I going with, he's saying, I lost the woman that I loved. I lost the woman that I loved the most. Like, there's a feeling of, that's what he's making me feel like, there's this like deep grief around, like heartbreak and not always, I don't know, what am I missing? Do you know who Jack is? I'm sorry. Do you know somebody called Jack or John?
I don't.
No. Okay. Because what I just saw was these cards. So I was like, was it the name Jack? Because I saw like the playing deck cards, and then I saw like the card, like the jacks, and then I kept like I was going into the story about like love, loss, like pain, grief, and then I saw these cards coming out. So I'm trying to kind of understand like Pictionary, charades, and telephone. Would you understand that there would have been issues up and down with money, or there would have been problems with him, like making bad business decisions sometimes and having to like build everything up again?
So you shouldn't laugh, Naomi.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, he did decide not to pay the IRS for like the first, before I was born, and that's how we ended up in Maine. But wait, I did, you mentioned the grief and the loss, and certainly he was a one-woman guy our whole life, to my mom, who still lives. But he was very close to my brother, who I believe did have a playing card tattoo. He died, unfortunately, of a drug overdose.
Oh, don't tell me too much. Okay, all right, yeah. And so that's interesting, right? Because I was like, where am I going with that? Because I thought it was a woman, but and forgive me for misinterpreting, but there's like this deep pain of like this loss, and so then there's the playing card tattoo. I know you don't know who Jack or John is, but I do feel like there's a connection to like a Johnny or a John that's with him on the other side.
I don't know if we're getting all tangled up here, but my father-in-law is John.
Oh, okay. So maybe they're just all together, right? Because they can be standing next to one another. It happens like that. They come in groups.
I don't know.
So hi from your, yeah. I would just say hi in there too. And so I know that Lauren gave you a really nice message from your dad, and I know that your dad is like here with me too. And what I'll say too is that, we get to meet our loved ones on the other side. So that loss, that deep pain that he had of losing his brother, right, they're connected again on the other side. Like they are together, So I want to leave you with that. And, the thing about the finances and making bad decisions, I honestly feel like at your father's core, he was doing it because he had to. Like he felt like he didn't have a choice. It's what he had to do to survive. And so I don't see him being like this bad guy, right? He's just like, I need the money, I need this, and this is how I got to get things done to support my family. And so whatever pain that might have caused the family, there's an amends coming through for that.
Sweetheart?
Oh,
Are you okay?
Oh, was that for me or for Naomi? I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's for you, sweetheart.
No, my dad was great with money. But again, I guess the bad decisions he made is with so many kids, you're going to have a few black sheep, and he'd always dump some money on them to kind of pick them up. And it was always a bad financial decision, of course, throwing good money after bad. And I'm sure he regrets that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it means. Like he felt like he had to do it to take care of the family, right? So whatever support
There were 7
is
of
there.
you?
7 boys and 2 girls.
2 girls. 9 kids? Wow.
9 kids, Irish
That's
Catholic.
yeah. And I just wanted to add one more thing to Naomi about, I think, I think it's with your grandmother, but as Lauren was talking about how she was an advocate for women's rights, and you were like going into talking about how she helped all these women, I kept seeing her deep connection to history. Like she must have been very well versed in history. Specifically, I'm going to the Civil War. I'm seeing her connection to. I mean, she's an avid reader. I'm seeing her connection to. I kept seeing the Underground Railroad, and I was like, where am I going with this? Right, like. There's something, and then I think that was taking me also to her love or support of helping people, who needed help, like helping minorities, helping people get access to things that they needed. She wanted things to be equal, right? Like she wanted people to have access to all those things. And then I was seeing like Susan B. Anthony, and I just know that really, and for your grandfather too, it's like she couldn't have picked a better match because he let her be her, right? I feel like he let her be her.
Very true.
And that she was very powerful, right? And then I kept seeing her standing next to a daughter. So I feel that there would have been. Do you know if she lost a child quite young, or there's a connection to? I just see this daughter that's with her.
Not aware of that.
Okay,
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, that's okay. So sometimes, there could be loss of a baby or a miscarriage, but it actually felt like a younger, a young girl who was around 11 or something. So forgive the misinterpretation, but I'll leave that with you, and just sending a lot of love from your grandmother too. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really unusual
Wonderful.
for our grandparents to have miscarriages and stuff like that back in the days. Like, and they always somehow say that they're connected on the other side with the baby, and they're they found love, and it happened a lot in my family as well. And that's
right.
But apparently, she came through loud and clear, and she has some nice messages for you, I'm sure. But I don't know who that is. My gosh. But is there? So the biggest thing is that you have a lot in common with her, and she's still with you, and you're. I don't know. Does that bring you any kind of peace or love? Feeling?
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. It's clearly my grandma. Interesting. I don't know if like phrases ever get a bit kind of elided in this work, but she was very, very focused on civil rights, not the Civil War, but
Oh,
definitely
that's what I meant. Civil rights, yeah, exactly. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Well, that's what I meant, because I was like Underground Railroad.
Between dimensions.
Sorry. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Civil rights. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's beautiful. Am I allowed to? Have I run out of time, or am I allowed to ask if there's about specific people?
Give your thought. I want to. This is your first time. I feel privileged for this, so we'd love to hear what your thoughts.
It's beautiful, and what a bonus that Brian's dad came through. Wow. So I guess just while I've got you guys, I'd like to know if my dad is there, and also if a man who died named, well, I'm not supposed to say his name, right? If any other man of my generation is there, and if he has anything to say.
Lauren, do you want to go?
I can dive in on a little bit of this to start us off, I think. And so Naomi, there we go. Hi. So what I want to kind of dive into here, I'm not sure if this might be more perhaps a younger gentleman versus the father, but let me tell you what I feel stepping in.
Okay.
I do feel somebody who kind of gives me, I don't think it's a biological brother, but he's giving me immediately a sense of kind of big brother vibe, or somebody who would have had that kind of energy or personality. I'm also hearing recent. So I feel like this is somebody who's left us within the last few years or less, that I think he's still a recent loss. And perhaps we're still in a time where grief is still really present in his loss, like where we may still be trying to unfold, or family members may be trying to understand this. And the other thing I notice is he comes through with a bit of a jolly energy. I feel like he was known to be kind of, or like me, has a loud, distinct voice or laugh about him. And I do think this is a very fast passing Naomi. I think it's almost unexpected. Would you understand this so far?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Would you also recognize that I almost get this feeling of wanting to put my arm on your shoulder and kind of like lounge out there, put my head on your shoulder. And I feel like there may be pictures of you guys kind of hanging out or having these kind of fun moments. But he talks to me about you being very thoughtful. And always having him in your mind. Like, I feel like you always made a point to stay connected to this gentleman, if you understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a lot more here. So I'm just trying to kind of pull him in a little bit. But the other thing I'm being very drawn to is the letter P. So I don't know if there's a P name here, like a Paul or Peter, that might have any significance around this relationship, living or departed. But just know I keep seeing a P, okay? And as we keep unfolding, I want to see where else that might connect. The other thing I sense here is this is an illness-related passing, Naomi. When I say fast, I think it's internal versus, again, other means passing.
Yes.
I also get a distinct impression that, is he just a touch older than you? He keeps giving me older brother vibes. Well, I think there may be a very close similarity in age. He almost seems to want to pull rank on you. Do you understand that feeling?
He was a little older than I.
Just a tiny bit, right? Not a lot, just enough to pull rank. Okay, let me kind of take a second here. I keep getting a bit of a visual love, and I get the impression here that he felt, even though this was a fast passing, maybe heart or so related, he may have not looked quite right for a while. And I feel like he's really well connected with people. Like, I can rub elbows with some really cool people.
Yeah.
But he looks so laid back. Like, this guy is khakis and like a simple collared cotton shirt, and looks like I might be going to play golf or something. But I think I don't know that he actually played golf. He's just got a more leisurely look, but I think he's going to rub elbows with really cool people.
That's literally correct.
Yes. Understand. And he feels like I'm always walking around well-known people, but I don't stand out as important. Like, he seems to know to just move through a group of important people, know everybody in the room. But he says, I know everybody, but I'm still not the most famous one in the room. You understand that? He just is the behind the scenes guy, but so many people would have respected him. Do you see that?
Exactly.
Okay.
I can't. I mean, kind of like, I want to ask him if he was a good influence on my family, and if everything's okay.
So when you say, was he a good influence in the family? I'm not sure if I quite understand the context, but what comes to instantly to me is yes. And I feel like that's a very confident yes, by the way. He's got a bit of a confidence in the influence. But I don't feel, here's where I get a bit mental about it, to be honest, Naomi. I think he knew how to give people a push. And sometimes I think he encouraged people to be themselves, and that may not have always been the best advice depending on the situation. And the other question you said there, forgive me, Naomi, what was the second part of that question?
I mean, is everything okay? Like,
with him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. I feel that when he left this world, it seemed, for his years, still premature for him. Yeah. I feel like I left this world and there was a mess that was left behind in my wake. You understand that? Yeah. And so when I look at it this way, I feel like a mess was left behind in my wake. And I have to be honest, there's a bit of an apology there. Because I think he was a clever guy. And I feel like he says things outwards, but had a lot of secrets inside. And I feel like when he died, that a lot of that, I almost swore, a lot of that stuff came to the surface, if you understand that. And so he apologizes and gives me like rosy cheeks, like when you get embarrassed about, literally, I feel like I want to say sorry that I did not tell you everything that you now know. And can I say one piece that's, I think, important here, Naomi? Thank you for still loving me in the process.
Okay, that's all very nice. I just want to make sure that he didn't harm or injure anyone I love.
The sense
Can
I get
add
is no.
something in?
Okay.
Sorry.
Cindy, jump into that if you want.
Well, it's interesting, and I don't know that we're the same person. I'm just gonna try, because as Lauren was speaking, I was like seeing this guy, and I was looking through his eyes, and he was showing me like he's really into all of these like conspiracy theories, and he's really kind of out there. And I feel like he has like I don't know, it's like this like information or conspiracy theories. That's what I keep hearing. But I feel like he's a genius, and I feel like I want to be an academic, or I'm tied somehow to just being really, really, really smart, right? Like knowing a lot. And then I kept seeing string theory. I'm like, where are we going? So, do you know anybody on the other side that matches this description?
Naomi? Loser?
Did we lose her?
Oh boy. Ghost.
Oh, here she comes.
Sorry, I got kicked off for a minute. Go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Did you hear the first part that I said? I think you might have been off, but
No, I got kicked off. You said you were seeing this guy, and that's the last I heard.
Yeah, no, I was seeing this guy, and he was showing me, I was like looking through his eyes, and I was surrounded by all of these books, and I felt like he was highly, highly intelligent, like educated, really smart. And then I kept seeing conspiracy theory. And then I was looking at string theory, and I was like, who are you? I was like, who is this guy, right? But I felt like his mind, like he knew a lot of things. I don't know. He had interesting ideas, right? Like and so I know that he must have had some connection to, I don't know, digging into government things or trying to, and so there's like this tie-in to like maybe barking up the wrong tree sometimes, or having ideas that maybe weren't in his best interest to have. And then I'm seeing all these documents, like I'm seeing like these papers, and I feel like the papers, like I'm hearing burn the papers, burn the documents or something, and I want to put him in a shredder or something, but I keep seeing.
Did he die of natural causes?
He did. He died of natural causes. Go ahead.
But there's like this part of him that it's like, I don't know. I'm like, are you CIA? Like, what are you doing? Who are you? You know? And then, but then I'm like just seeing the way that his mind works and the things that he dug into, and how not always like, you know, the best things. Do you understand that part?
Kind of, yes.
But do you have letters from him, or all these documents, like these papers? I don't, here's what I'm seeing. You know, when they have documents and then things are redacted, right?
Yes.
It's like, I'm like seeing these papers, and I'm seeing the black things are redacted. I'm like, well, I don't quite know what I'm looking at, but I see these papers. And so I know that whatever he was into, there had to be secrets. There had to be things that other people definitely didn't know. But I don't think that your family's in harm, like in any way. Yeah.
Well, he's dead now, so they're not in harm. But were they harmed? Was anyone I love
I don't
harmed?
see
Not
that.
just my family. Okay.
No.
All right. Thank God.
No.
Okay. Good.
No.
Good. Okay. Good. I mean, is there anything else he wants me to know? You know, in this lifetime, is he? You know, I don't know. Is he okay? Like, he died so young.
I think he's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. Great.
I was going to agree with Cindy. I think he's at peace, but I will say this.
Thank God.
And I think, because Cindy, you're picking up on some things too. When I saw him in like a room, it felt like I was around like, you know, important, not just like actors, but like either politicians or military. I kept feeling military with him for some reason.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I think he carried a lot. It's the secrets. I think he carried such a weight of secrecy in his life that I actually think he seems more relieved in spirit to not have to hold this in anymore.
Okay, good. All right. No, you've answered all my questions about him. And lastly, I mean, I know I've probably come to the end of my time, but just before I let you go, does my dad show up at all? Is there anything he wants to say?
Oh, can I add one more thing for your brother? I promise it's real fast.
Sure. Oh, it's not. It wasn't my brother. It's not my brother.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. That's what Lauren said. Sorry. So what I was seeing was these rocks in a stream, and I kept wanting to tell you. This is from this man. Like he keeps taking me to a stream and rocks, and he's talking about going into nature, and he's collecting rocks. So I don't know, there's some connection to the two of you, where when you're outside walking, if you go out by the river or the rocks, please think of him.
Okay, I know exactly what he's talking about. That's amazing.
What happened? Why does it make you laugh?
What made me laugh? This
Yeah.
man spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to harness energy from a stream on my property in the country, and how to,
Oh.
and how to turn it into a source. Yeah, he was obsessed with the stream, and there is a stream full of rocks behind my house, and I know what he's talking about.
You
Yeah.
guys are so spot on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so
So
crazy.
anything from
Thank
my
you.
dad before I let you go? Thank you so much.
Poor dad. He was trying to get a word in edgewise there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking.
Oh, no.
No, your dad.
Oh, my dad.
Guys,
Oh, nothing shuts my father up. That shouldn't be difficult for him.
So, Cindy, do you feel a little something already?
Well, I'm just like, who is this German guy or this like man's from Germany? Is that your father,
Okay.
Naomi?
No, it's my father-in-law. That's my father-in-law.
Is that back to
Oh,
Bill?
sorry. I was like,
That's John.
I was like,
That's John.
oh, okay.
No,
Well,
my former father-in-law. I'm sorry. My
Oh, former father.
father-in-law.
I was like, can I
Yeah,
ask a question?
John.
I'm confused about John and Bill because wasn't Bill a father?
I have been married twice.
Okay.
So my former father-in-law is John, and he is German.
oh, okay. Well, he says hi, and then I want to say like happy birthday or
that?
something. So there
Oh
should
my
be a
God.
birthday.
Yes, my birthday's coming up. Yes.
Yep. So happy birthday from John the German.
Oh my God. All right. How's he doing?
He's doing great. I don't know. I like his energy. He just like I wanted to say I like his fire. I'm like, why did I just say fire? I mean, it's like so. Oh yeah, Drew hit the camera.
Drew, can you center Pauline?
Wait, is it that one? No, it's
That's
this
it.
one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that it? Oh yeah, that's good. So Lauren, you go ahead. So from your father-in-law, happy birthday. He's doing great. He's I like that guy. So go ahead, Lauren.
So really quickly, Naomi, I think you mentioned, just to kind of review things I think that already came up, so they're not like new evidence, but your dad, you said, was also on the older side when he passed as well, like the 80s or so passing. Is that right?
No, my dad was in his 90s. Sorry for
Even
that.
more so. Yes. Okay. Because I felt like an older person, but I did feel like your grandmother who was coming through, wait, separate side. Hold on. Let me get that reorganized. Yeah, I was going to say, he feels younger than your grandmother at the time that he passed. So, your grandmother, I think you said, was 99. So would he still have been a bit younger than her, even though they're separate families?
Yes,
Okay.
he's a little younger than.
And
yes.
would you understand if I'm seeing this correctly? First thing I kept seeing, I'm back to watching a gentleman who seems to be with his nose in a newspaper, or things like, Time, Newsweek. I feel like I'm reading all the important publications. And I get the impression that the first thing I also must say is I get a struggle with his mind at the very end of his life, Naomi. So I know there was a brief issue where a stroke or some struggles of dementia at the very end were kicking in. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, he had dementia.
And I feel like this was, like, to me, it still seemed short-lived. I think he got a good journey of his life, mostly mentally capable, but you can see a sadness in his end where I feel like he was ready to leave once his mind started to fade. Do you see that?
I'm sure.
Okay. And I feel he was cared for, like he shows to me being well cared for, but I feel like I'm missing you in this energy for some reason. I want to draw you closer to me. So Naomi, did you two live a bit of a distance from each other, or was it a little bit more difficult to connect? Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because I feel like I want to pull you closer to me. And I get this immediate sensation of a dear, like, really dear energy, meaning caring, very caring. But I also feel like when he's younger, so I want to talk about when he's a little bit healthier, because there's a whole different energy that comes out of him here. When I step away from his later years with dementia, I feel like as a younger man, he has a very, like, even like late 50s, 60s age. He kind of gives me a very handsome, put together personality. I feel like I still have some hair perhaps here, but I don't know if he had started to thin a little bit in the later part of life. Is that right?
I mean, he had beautiful hair. It barely thinned, but he was
okay. So there
very
was
handsome.
that kind of, my first thing was feeling like a combed, like curl side.
Yeah.
But I just kind of felt like I'm touching at the top at the end. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit starting to go away. But when he shows me this younger side, he's got this really cool kind of nice presentation. I mean, like he looks like a man that, it kind of reminds me of my grandfather with like the well-presented look, nice haircut. I almost want to pull a comb out and just give myself a little brush. And I feel like he was known for speaking. I don't know if his work kind of was about presenting or teaching or speaking.
Yes,
but
he was a teacher.
Okay, beautiful. Yes. And I feel like he speaks so eloquent.
Yes.
Like I feel like I'm I don't know if this is like Harvard or college professor teaching.
He was a college professor, yes.
Okay, beautiful. And I get this impression here that I can see him kind of standing at the podium and being not just a teacher, but someone who was well respected for inspiring a lot of people.
Totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Is he teaching a bit more on the science side of life or analytics, things like that? It is more like in English or something?
Yes, English.
Yeah. Weird. Okay, hold on. The reason one thing I kept seeing, and I wasn't sure if this was connected with your grandmother, and I think Cindy touched on this a little bit, was I kept looking at old books from authors from like the 1960s all the way back to like the 1800s. So that was kind of strange.
My son just brought his library of old books to my apartment out of storage, like literally.
And do we understand having even like a collection of perhaps some first editions of certain things? Or
I hope so. I haven't evaluated them yet, but they look, they're from the 19th century. That's very possible.
Yeah, he keeps showing me some of these books. I feel like I'm going back to like, almost like Jack Kerouac times, all the way back to like Edgar Allan Poe and, British and other authors there. And I feel like, though, when he speaks, what got me kind of confused about the science, I think he was a very analytical guy. It's funny, I'm an English major myself, and I feel like I remember some of the literature, but I feel like when he speaks or organizes everything, he was so thoughtful about everything he put together. You understand that?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys
hear me? Oh, are we?
Yes. Yeah, I'm the host over here.
Sorry. In the background. I'm so sorry. Am I going too far?
I don't know. I know Naomi's smiling right now. I'm just goofing around.
I am, totally. This is amazing.
Can I say who your dad is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I have Leonard Wolf. That's your father, right?
Oh my God.
Yep.
What?
No, because I was like seeing beatnik poetry before, and he's a poet.
No,
Oh, so funny.
He's a Romanian-American poet, author.
He was a
I was
poet.
seeing that.
Translator. He's known for his authoritative annotated editions of classic Gothic horror novels, including Dracula, Frankenstein, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and The Phantom of the Opera, and other critical works on this topic, which fits right in with my Halloween theme today. So I'm very happy. You screwed up the camera again. Anyways, and he's also for his Yiddish translations of works ranging from those of Isaac Bashevis Singer to Winnie the Pooh. And he's the father of Naomi Wolf. And he was very polite to wait for his spot. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting because
something. Because I know we're running out of time. I fear. I mean, I am also running out of time.
Go pick up your son.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix
Oh, can I add just quickly, because I know we know who he is now, and like it's funny because I was like, I was seeing like the beatnik era and stuff, but then I was looking at a starfish. Yeah, right.
Born in Transylvania.
Wait, I was looking down at the beach, and I was looking at a starfish. Like he was picking it up and handing me the starfish, and then I was looking up in the sky, and I'm like looking out, and I'm seeing like this deep love and appreciation for the ocean, for the sea, like. and I was seeing, all of these what else? I was just going to go somewhere else, and then I was seeing magic mushrooms. I was like, what are we doing with? I was like, are we having some mushrooms? But I think what the point is that he has all this intellect, and he's a brilliant poet and teacher and author and all these things, right? He's also deeply connected to nature. Like he would have been an environmentalist or cared deeply for life, like plants, animals, and so I feel like if you want to look for your father, look for him in the sky, look for him in the stars, look for him in the sea, because he believed we came from nature and we're going back to nature, right? We are stardust. And so it's like he's really, really beautiful person, inspirational, so.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, no, that's very true. And he did literally believe that. He literally believed that we would, he was like delighted to go back to the earth eventually. Well, so does he have nothing particular he wants to say? We just get to admire his handsomeness and charm, which is how he lived his life as well.
Go
ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say real fast, I'll say one of the beautiful things I feel about him, Naomi, is this love that he had for family. And I remember at the beginning, he came right in and was like, I missed you, but I'm here with you. And in a different way than your grandmother. Boy, I feel like you're kind of mixed between two souls, where your grandmother's got like that, let's go be bold. At the same time, I feel like your dad's saying, let's go be creative.
Right.
And wanting to inspire a time in your life, by the way, where, remember your grandmother tapped you and said, your best is yet to come in some of the work that you're doing. But at the same time, your dad does feel like I need to enjoy and be free. And I feel like he wants to see you enjoy more. Yeah. To let
that sounds
go.
like him.
Yeah.
That sounds like him.
Yeah. And to let you know that he loves you so dearly. I hope you know that deep inside.
That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Can you ask him if there are any other half siblings out there? I don't know.
Oh no! Oh great, getting deep. Well, Lauren, you can take that, Lauren. But can I just add one more thing? Because he just showed me, and I think this is what he was saying, because he showed me a fireplace in the house. Like he's like showing me this fireplace and putting the wood in and making sure the flue was open. And again, it was like in line with Lauren of like making sure you're relaxing. And then I see somebody smoking a cigar by the fireplace. And then around your son, I know you have a son, you told us that, but it's like, I feel like your son, there's a connection to him being like your father in a sense, or like there's that, he is, your father is very much watching out for your son. They have a lot in common in the way that their minds work and their expansiveness and their ability to see the big picture and not be afraid to just put it out there. And so he wants you to know that he's really all around your son.
Yeah,
so
good. And she's supposed to be taking him to the
that's
airport.
lovely.
I don't want you to be late.
I better go. And I probably shouldn't have put him on the spot either on national or whatever international digital platforms. I'll find out about any other.
To tell you that he's proud of your son. Your son is in his heart, and he knows you're. That's also your. I just want to let you know that it. I know you have to go to the airport, so I just want to make sure you know what time it is. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Okay. Well, this has been mind blowing. You guys, no, seriously, you guys got 10 out of 10. I do have a half sister. Yes.
Half sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew these guys.
That's it, though.
Does he have something? Wait, is there something about my half sister that I should know? That he wants me to know?
I just heard half sister. That's literally that came into my mind. But then
literally dad, the one I know about, or someone new.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't think there's new.
No one knew. All right.
That he's aware of anyway.
Okay. Well, God bless him wherever he is. I hope he's having a wonderful time. I hope they all are. And this has been absolutely extraordinary. And it's also definitely made me not fear death, because there's going to be a big party when we all pass, isn't there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This has been incredible. What a blessing. And thank you so much for, channeling or whatever, being the conduit for Brian's side of the family as well, and all of my beloved people who have gone before. This is just something I'll never forget, and I'm so glad it's recorded, and I'll share it with my loved ones. And you guys are amazing, and thank you, Susan and Dr. Drew and Kaleb and your whole team for making this happen. What an amazing gift! I'm so grateful. I will sign off now, but I'm going to think about you guys and thank you for so long.
For coming on.
Okay,
and
thank
sharing
you.
your
Thank
history
you all.
and
Happy
the love of
Halloween.
your family.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Woo, you guys.
That was really fun.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out which mic this is. Okay, we want
One of Susan's mics might be muted. We're
Is
getting
that
a
one?
signal.
Wait, is that one? Okay, let me see. Okay, I think we have the right ones on now. Okay,
No, it's
I'm trying
Susan.
to play tech person.
It's
I still
Susan.
can't, I still
You're
can't
muted.
hear from yours.
How is that?
No, it's
Better?
yours isn't.
Susan.
Tap on yours. Yeah.
It's muted.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Do you want to borrow mine?
Well, I have this one over here. Hold on. How's this one?
That's working.
Yeah, I don't know why my mic went out.
hi.
It's pretty funny. You mean I've been yelling across the room this whole time?
I've been texting and prompting for about 20 minutes. So.
Six. Okay, I don't know why it
When
went
she
out. It
kept
was
saying,
working
hi,
fine when we
it's the host
started.
of the show, I could barely hear
Right,
that.
that's what I was saying. Is like they don't know
Oh
your
my
host.
God.
It was on earlier
They're all
though.
on.
So,
All
yeah.
the mics are on, so I don't know what the
It's
problem
the aliens.
It's-
So
yeah,
our skip,
aliens,
our
yeah.
skip became a reality.
Wait, I think it's this one.
No, I don't hear it. It might be unplugged.
Oh, that's so fucking weird. Okay, anyways. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Anyway, so we're back. I have another mic here, thank God. Whew, that was a lot. There's a lot of Naomi family members out there that we're waiting for you. And meanwhile, Brian's sending me all this information via text about his family. And right in the middle of it, he also mentioned that his father was part of the Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad.
So,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
you're
like connecting in. It was connecting in.
you're picking
yeah.
up on that as well. So, we're going to take a break and then come back. I don't know if Pauline is still with us.
She's still here.
Is here. Okay, she's next, and we're going to quickly take a little break and then come right back and talk to Paulina.
Joint and muscle pains are exhausting and frustrating, but I've got a over-the-counter medication I want to introduce you to that provides great relief using the power of, check it out, chili peppers. Capsidin is made with a proprietary formula that contains no non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, no opioids, no anesthetic or steroid, nothing, no chance for addiction, no side effects. No chance it's going to interact with other medication you might be taking. Capsidin contains capsaicin, which is the substance in chili peppers that burns your tongue. That gives you that burny feeling. And of course, I've recommended capsaicin creams to patients over the years, but other capsaicin creams burn your skin. That's what makes capsidin so unique. In clinical trials, capsidin has actually been demonstrated not to burn.
I've been using Capsidin to relieve my pain in my hands and my wrist from carpal tunnel syndrome and arthritis. The results have been amazing. I use it every day during my show, and I highly recommend it.
Get the pain relief you need from various sources, even backache, sprains, bruises even. Order now at capsidin.com/Drew to get a 15% discount plus free shipping. That is CAPSADYN, capsidin.com/DREW. The Wellness Company knows that taking charge of your family's healthcare is a top priority, and that is why they are constantly innovating to deliver the products and services to help you be rationally ready for an emergency. They've added a medical kit for kids to treat over 20 childhood illnesses: nausea, vomiting, allergies, asthma, bioterror, God forbid, croup ear infections, lice, and more. And you can also order the kids kit with an EpiPen. Carefully sourced, great price. If there's a risk of anaphylaxis for your kids, you want that EpiPen. That can be in all kits, each customized for a different purpose. It comes, of course, with a telemedicine consultation and a guidebook, and you can replenish the meds up to 2 years after the date of purchase. So go to drdrew.com/2WC for 10% off any medical emergency kit or supplements. That is drdrew.com/TWC.
Oh, here we are. Oh, wait, we're back.
We're back. I had to go to the bathroom. Okay, so I wish we could have seen her face because I love to see the response to people when they really get, they get the messages that they want and stuff. So, hello, beautiful girl with a face
Hi,
that
Paulina.
moves. Welcome. Calling out. This is our script writer. She is a brilliant writer. I have a personal connection to her. She she's written a book, It Doesn't Have to Be Awkward, Dealing with Relationships, Consent, and Hard to Talk About Stuff. You can find her at paulinapinsky.com. She's a writing coach and also does comedy writing classes at Columbia University in the summertime to high school kids. She's been doing that for a few years. You can find her on Instagram at Paulina_Pinsky. And she coaches writers and has the Artist Way classes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so if you want to learn how to write like Naomi Wolf, call Paulina. So, and Paulina, she's a huge fan of Naomi Wolf. And I thought it'd be fun to have another writer on today. But what'd you think of that, Paulina? Like, geez, can you believe how many
Well, first of all, it was
spirits
really
came
fun.
through?
It was really fun to see you try to articulate my bio. Like, what does she remember that I do? All my jobs are made up, and you did a great job. I thought it was beautiful. I mean, it's always fun to witness someone have their first reading. Obviously, my mom is very into clairvoyance, and so I was 8 years old when I had my first reading. So I am no longer a virgin in the world of psychics. So
She's
it's
a
fun
frequent
to
flyer
see
like
someone.
I am.
Yeah, by osmosis. We didn't go to church. We had Rebecca Fearing come to the house and tell me Elvis was a
That's church. I think that's church.
It is. It definitely
bless her.
established a sense of spirituality.
It did.
But it doesn't necessarily subscribe to dogma. I'm okay with.
Yeah, but it helped you write a script about aliens crashing into the vessel, right?
Yeah, the final product went through a lot of revisions, but you know what? The frame was there and it was executed flawlessly. So well done, everybody. Beautiful acting and commitment.
I don't know if that's true, but thank you, honey. I really appreciate your time and efforts on that. It was really well written. Your father said, "This is really well written. This looks like something Paulina would do." I said, "Yeah, it wasn't me." So just so you know. But also, Cindy has some feelings about aliens too. So.
Woo! I think Lauren does too. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
want
we're
to
going
speak
to
for
talk
Lauren.
about that. But first, I'm going to let them tag team for a couple minutes, and then let you, get your psychic reading, and then we'll discuss the aliens among us in Cindy's mind.
Great.
In my mind. No one else. All right, Lauren, you want to start? You want me to start? Up to you.
You want to
Are
start
you
this
in
one?
it?
I'm
Sure,
not there
okay.
yet.
Okay, I know. I'm like, that's why I asked you. I'm like, you want to go? Okay. No, it's okay. Okay, so let me just see. Well, I mean, honestly, Paulina, the first thing that just came into my mind really quickly was like dirt. I feel like I'm walking out. Like, I don't know if it's a farm or if I'm learning how to do sustainable living or if I want to plant, grow my own vegetables. I just keep seeing all this stuff that has to do with like growing food naturally and learning how to not have to rely on other people for that, right? Do you understand that?
It could mean multiple things.
Okay, so let me keep going. So then, now I'm looking at corn. I'm like, so it definitely has to do with food and corn. It's like, it's just right there.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, right? But I keep seeing your feet like in the dirt. So that's also a connection to me about like wanting to be grounded, wanting to, with all of the crazy stuff that goes on in the world, needing this place to go where you can just be grounded, right? And then I keep walking down this path. I'm like, where are we going? I'm being led down this trail, and then I'm in the trees, and then I see a yurt. I'm like, oh, what are we glamping? Like maybe we're going glamping at the same time. But it's like putting you like in an environment where I also feel like you're educating or you're talking to people about sustainable living.
Yeah,
Make sense?
100%. Yes.
Oh, okay.
100%.
So I think like it's a really like beautiful thing. It's a beautiful idea. I feel like then it's like I'm seeing the corn growing again. I'm like, you have to grow it. Like you have to just keep growing it, and it's there. It's happening. It's gonna work, and yeah, that's where I'm at. And then a cow just popped in too. I'm like, oh, maybe she's gonna be like milking her cows. I mean, it's just like I see like all of the stuff, right? But it's beautiful. And then one last thing to add into that vision, because it just turned into this stage, right? It's kind of interesting how this came in. I was like, I'm in the woods, I'm seeing all these animals, the cows, okay, it's a farm. Then the stage appeared in the middle of the forest. And then I see like you're directing a play, or there's a connection to that being a bigger part of your future. And I want to say go for it too. And your grandmother supports you 100%. She's like right there to just be like, I got your back. We got this. We're going to do this.
Damn. Can I say how that resonates? Is it
Sure.
too soon?
Or I don't know. Lauren, do you want to go first?
I mean, I was kind of a bit, I'll just add a couple quick things for you, Paulina, but I think Cindy kind of nailed a lot of the things I was feeling myself in terms of, one thing I would say is, I don't know if this also has a retreat piece to it. But when she kind of took me on this glamping journey, I kind of felt like you're leading other people into this space to retreat them and then kind of energize them and create creativity. And when she talked about like being on the stage, I kept seeing a TV series or something
my
with
dad is gonna
episodes
love that.
about
My
it.
dad's gonna, oh yeah, my dad's gonna love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that all make sense? So I do think Cindy picked up on the grandmother in the spirit. I was tuning into a woman. I don't know if this is Susan's mother that's in the spirit, but I kind of felt a woman who was really, how do I want to say this? Life had a lot of challenges for her. And I feel like she really was able to try to get through some difficulty and stand out for whatever that means. Stand up. I keep feeling like I had to move through hard stuff to stand up again. And I feel like she's talking about you right now also, coming through some difficult stuff to feel more clear about where you're going from this moment forward, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So other than like, I think Cindy kind of nailed a good chunk of what was going on. I just felt those little additional pieces wanting to pop in. And with the retreat stuff, I think this is a huge place that either starts off as something you build physically or create physically, a space, and also collaborating with other spaces, perhaps around islands, to do some other retreat or feeling invited to other spaces for this.
Beautiful.
Does this have anything to do with that dancing thing you did?
No. Well, maybe I went to dance camp, but I am in the process of very beginning organizing a eating disorder recovery retreat over Labor Day weekend. Wow. Or May, which one's Memorial Day? I don't know. And someone reached out and she has a nonprofit and we are going to like take people to the farm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I also just
I see how my mother would like that though, because my mother was a farmer. Like she
was?
Yeah. So she grew all her own vegetables, and we had a house in Newport Beach, and normal people had a pool and grass in the backyard. I had horseradish, tomatoes, strawberries, and a peach tree. Oh, avocados. Yeah. And she would grow everything. All our vegetables were grown. So that was that. If my mom was, it probably was my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
she also was the one that fucked with my mic. And Mom, stop doing that. I'm tired of this shit. Okay, keep shutting my mic off. But she's a strong influence around Paulina. She has been over the years too. So
I feel her presence often, even though I didn't know her in earthly ways that long, but I feel her protection often. And that's why, I also moved to central Minnesota, so that's probably why there was corn involved.
You might be in Vermont. I was almost
we had
wondering if
corn
you were in
too.
Vermont when Cindy said cows were coming. I was like, are we in Vermont?
No, I am in central Minnesota, and it snowed today.
It did. Oh boy, here it comes. Oh, that's so cool
Super
though.
wild.
Congratulations.
Very confirming. Yeah, because it's literally, I had my first call about it Sunday, and then I talked to a licensed therapist yesterday. And it's a very new idea, but I think it's something that I feel very passionate about because diet culture is real toxic right now.
It is.
And I feel myself being called back to sort of my OG body positive eating disorder recovery work. And so it's very validating. I would love to run a retreat center or do this in Hawaii, but this time around it's going to be in upstate New York. So if you're interested, follow me. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, right?
Beautiful.
Go to Paulina at paulinapinsky.com and get more information. So do you have any questions like about anything that you want to, or anybody you want to talk to or any before you go?
I guess I would be curious about, as my mom said, I'm a writer and I'm in the process of trying to move to the next phase in my career. And I would love to hear what my spirit guides have in store or what they feel is good for me. I had a reading a couple of weeks ago and Grandpa Moore gave me very sound advice about my book. And I'm open to hearing from anybody. But that's sort of what's top of mind for me right now.
Hey, Lauren, I'll let you take this because I brought through Mort and Patricia like 10,000 times. So just go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what I got going on here. I don't know if this is coming in from spirit yet, but I'll tell you what I feel. I think we were both kind of touching on that a little bit, by the way, Cindy and I, when we go back to the part about when Cindy talked about like presenting stage theater, and then I kept seeing like a series. And I feel like writing books is, to me, always part of the journey for you, and new concepts and books I think will continue to evolve. But I almost got this feeling of, I don't know if it's even like a documentary, like, it's funny that you're talking about going on this, working with the diet, culture that we're dealing with. And I kept feeling like I'm seeing you write a series. And I don't know if that is comedic series or a documentary series, but I feel like you're going to have not only opportunities to continue to publish, Paulina, but I almost feel like there's script writing to be done.
Oh, wow.
Funny how you opened up with writing the script for this intro, right? But
I know, she did it like in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be opportunities to collaborate and connect this out there. Now, the other part, I think, is also the teaching of writing, and also in that retreat format that is aside from what's going on right now, where I feel like you'll continue to write or inspire writing different ways. Again, being in the right scene, the right area for people to also feel creative. It's like watching when people go to Italy to learn how to paint, right? I feel like I could see you taking people to these, or even kind of going back to historical sites where Shakespeare wrote, or, here in Boston where, all the Edgar Allan, David Henry Thoreau and everybody in the places here is kind of going to those spaces that invoke that kind of energy. So it's almost like bringing that spirit into the work as well. I don't know if they're the grandfather, by the way, you said Morty, is that what we said his name was earlier? But there's a gentleman that kind of dances around me here in the spirit. And I feel like he's got this very lackadaisical, like, I've got some things to say kind of personality. And I feel like he had a bit of a mischievous nature. I think he was somebody who had a knack to feel like he was witty. By the way, I think he was always a gentleman with a joke. And I think he thought he was quite funny most of the time, even though some might be like, well, was that really funny? And I do think he inspires humor for you, Paulina. I think it's all about thinking off the cuff, moving quickly, letting the wit flow, and not holding back that wit, and really continuing to let this crazy off the cuff wit come out of you. And really, to me, I think this is going to change the trajectory of your long-term career in the most positive way.
I want to know who this person is.
To the point where I think you speak as well.
Who is this guy? Who's this? Can you describe this person that's witty?
The gentleman
That's
that's
nobody in
stepping
our
in.
family.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Susan. I thought I was doing that, but I do feel like a gentleman who steps in. He gives me, when I look at Paulina's energy, a bit of a grandfather's personality. I feel like he was, yes, heavily unwell before he passed. There was definitely some illness issues that were quite extensive in his energy. But I think he kind of keeps pushing himself forward. He's like, I'm not going to go down so easy. You know, like he's got this really hard physical journey, but he's still plugging along really strong. I think I'm in my mid-elderly 60s, maybe 70s age passing. If he's in early 80s, he's kind of slogging along at that point. But he's so simple. Like, I feel like this guy, you know, kind of so simple. He really feels like I want a simple life. I keep hearing that so loudly. I want the simple life. So who does that sound like so far for you ladies?
Mort.
It is Mort. Okay. And so
Right, Mom? That's Mort.
Is that Morty?
I think so,
What do we do,
but he
Susan?
was in his 80s, and he's related
So
to
he's a
her.
little bit. Okay.
No,
Right.
Grandpa
So Susan,
Mort had so many ailments. All like that's like
It's
Dad's
true.
constant
He was sick,
refrain. Is
yeah.
like,
But he made it into his 80s pretty well.
yeah, but he was
Okay.
the first grandfather to go.
I mean, he was funny, sort of, I think, kind of.
You know what's funny is that in sort of lived experience with him, I didn't perceive him as funny, but when he shows up in spirit to me, like I like it's a bigger the playfulness to him that I think that maybe I got to see in a way that no one else did. Like I think that to Douglas and
But it's
Jordan was
definitely
like, don't spend money.
a blood
you know?
relative. You guys feel a blood relative.
and again, I can tell you what I sense if the evidence is leading you somewhere else. But the first thing he said is he's a grandfather to Paulina. So when I read Paulina, this is the energy I see stepping in. He says he's a grandfather. I felt initially like a 60s, 70s, but if he was in his 80s, he was still slogging along at that point, you know, still going along.
Slogging along. That's a good word.
You know, well, it feels like he's really struggling, and I hope that's not a negative. It's just like he tells me, like I'm pushing myself up every day to keep on going. You know, like I feel like he
will
was.
live.
Yeah, he had this. He was moving through illnesses, but he still seemed to like get along every day. You know, and I think there's a little bit
That's
of
smart. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like he's trying to step through, again, sometimes different sides of the family, like the way I see my dad versus the way my brother sees my dad. We've got completely different dynamic relationships with that man, you know? And when I feel him stepping into Pauline, because we were communicating about the writing journey, you know, he really gave me that humor, that wit, that little bit of a toothy smile. So I don't know if at the end he was kind of cocky in a smile or had he started to lose his teeth a little bit, you know? And he talked about, remember, being very simple. I think he had a lot in his life. This is a man who I don't think struggled to need things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel like he tried to be overly extravagant about the way he lived. He wanted simplicity.
No.
He wanted ease. I want to kick my feet up at the end of my life and enjoy peace.
Can I add something, Lauren? I just
Yes,
it just
please.
like this is it just was kind of coming in. I'm like, I gotta sort out what this is. Because I was just seeing, you know, these old skeleton keys, like when you have like a home and like you have the skeleton keys. So he just handed me skeleton keys, right? And then I was like, he took me up to this attic, and then I think it's Mort, maybe it's not Mort, but I'll just tell you what I'm saying. Then he took me up to this attic, and there was this like chest, and I like put the key in, and it opened up, and then I was like seeing all these old photos and things like that. But it has to do with like, did you actually, let me ask you first, do you have skeleton keys, or do you know why there is, does that make sense? No?
That reminds me of my dad.
Oh, okay, fine. Because it's weird. I was like, am I in an old Victorian house with the skeleton keys? Like I'm going up these stairs. Okay, so hold on. So maybe
They
somebody
did have an old home.
Okay. And then I'm like, what is going on? So then I go in, I open up this chest. I see all these old family photos. I see like photos from the military. I'm seeing like all these things. And then what he said to me was, sometimes you need to keep the skeletons locked up. And I was like, okay. So I was like, because it's like this tie-in to like, he's the one that's like, please don't write a book about our family history, but he's like laughing about it. But like, sometimes keep the skeletons, you know.
So maybe he knew, Paulina.
What do you
I don't
mean
know,
he
but
knew?
About
Knew what?
about Helene.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You were going to write about this in your book.
oh,
Right?
oh.
I knew Paulina's face.
Well, you can do whatever you want. They're dead, but you know, he's, you know.
Maybe
Well,
watch
okay.
what skeletons you write about.
Yeah, maybe that's what it means.
From Helene. Because she told me I
And
could
then
write
the
about
other-
it in another reading.
Oh,
She-
well, hey, well, no, but she's not saying it. He's saying
it's
it,
already
right?
out
It's
there.
not. It's not.
already public.
I don't even
so
know what it is,
Oh,
but
interesting, because
but
I've
there's-
always wondered if he knew.
Mhm.
We didn't know if he knew.
Oh well, okay.
Do we know?
You might know.
Yeah, it's on the internet. So basically, Drew's mother was married before she married Mort, and she took it to her grave.
Oh, some more.
We found out when Drew
Oh,
was
I didn't know that.
in her 40s, and he was like one of the old. He was an old movie star, and she, you know, it sort of helped her career. But she was very young.
She
he was
married.
older,
She
and-
married an alcoholic silent film star. He was 50. She was 19.
Oh my
And then
god.
she
Whoa.
raised
So
his
anyways,
son.
we found out when Drew was mid 40s and the kids were, and then we were all like, well, do we call her out? Like, what do we do? And
We didn't.
we were all like, no, don't say anything. We'll just wait and see, you know, what happens. But then Mort passed away and we never asked him if he knew. I don't know if was he dead already when we found it? But anyways, I think he had already passed away when we figured it out or something. So
I can't
yeah,
remember.
that's,
But it
well,
does.
he knows now. So
Well, it aligns with sort of the ethos of just like trying to contain it. You know, it's like
It's
keep
more
it- it's
like
very of
that. Like,
generation.
but there's another thing that I was seeing too. It's like, you know, I'm kind of jumping back to when we were talking about like the farm and the retreats. And then I saw this area that was like fenced off. And then I saw a rage cage, you know, where you can just get like super angry and start like hitting things. I'm like, well, what is that? It's like, I feel like there's this part of this retreat where it's like, you know, when you can go into the woods and just scream really loud and just scream and scream and scream. And so it has to do with releasing like rage and releasing anger, and it's specifically for women, and it has to do with releasing all the rage around all of the like things that have been put upon us, like how we should look, how this and this, like because right. And then I was like, is he giving me that? I don't know. It just came in, but then I saw you going to a literal rage cage. Have you ever been to one of those where you like smash things with a bat and like TVs and stuff?
I would love that. I would do well there.
It must be a need to do on your to-do list.
Yeah.
That's
Artist
awesome.
state.
Full therapy.
Well, listen, I think I'm going to let you go because your dad's going to come in and get some healing from Cindy, and we're going to talk about her predictions and her. Oh my God, something just happened on my restream. I swear. I'm sorry, Mom. We have to go. So she's messing
tell
with my
Dad
computer.
Screen script writing is in my future because he's very excited when I write dialogue. So let him know.
It's
Yeah,
serious.
good. No, we keep telling you that you should do that. You did a great job, and give us your plugs again, where to find you and
Great. Hi, I'm Paulina. I'm a writer, writing coach, and you can find my offerings on my website, paulinapinsky.com. January 2025, we're going to be going through The Artist Way, which is a 12-week spiritual workbook meant to unblock creativity, written by Julia Cameron. This will be my 9th time leading a group of people through that book. So if you have heard of this book, feel creatively blocked, want to connect to your inner child, come join us. I have a referral code. If you bring a friend, you both get a discount. So that's pretty cool. And I also write the Substack Newly Sober. So if you are sober curious or sober or struggling, head to Substack and subscribe there. And you can find me on Instagram at Paulina_Pinsky. Oh yeah, that's all I
Very well
got, I
done.
think.
Thanks, Paula.
Thanks, Paulina.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Bye, Paulina.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
So now we're going to try to change the, what's going on over there? Oh, that's just a pumpkin. Okay. Hey, Drew.
Oh my God. I can see the side screen.
That's Drew right there.
Oh my God.
His head. Okay. I think he went to sleep. I don't know. Is he? I want you to come over here. So when we were getting into the pandemic, we literally we were all together, Cindy and Drew and I, and we where's that pandemic writing thing, Drew? I think it's the pandemic information. I mean the automatic writing that Cindy did that you outlined. So Cindy has this craft. She can sit down with a piece of paper and just journal psychic events that are going to come true in the future. And
I hope they don't come true, most of them. So.
Yeah. And she doesn't hold back. Here, I'm going to have you sit down, Drew, because I know this really, really like intrigued you. And
you go ahead and interview, and I'll tell if you have questions.
okay, so we're sitting. She just sent this to me on May 31st, 2020, and she was able to sort of foresee the future. We have a bunch of them, which she sent one in 2023 and 2024. We've had several of them, but
You're the only two people I send these to, by the way. I don't send them to anybody else. I don't talk. I don't.
I mean, I want you to.
You can.
These are the ones you. Right. I'm going to give you my seat. So, anyways, she wrote all this stuff down. We're sitting in the kitchen. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic, and we had no idea where COVID-19 was going to go. We didn't know, what was coming around the corner, in the world and world politics or anything. And she just wrote all this stuff down, and it was so dark and so scary. And we were just like, this was May of 2020, but some really interesting thing popped out to Drew, because, she was talking about, the pandemic and lockdowns and the vaccine and what they were going to use. But anyways, I'll let Drew take over, because I find it's really fascinating.
You're not getting out of this, Drew.
Explain them what you do.
Yeah. So
okay. So first, I want to say, like, anytime I do a psychic prediction, I look at it as a possibility, right? Because I never say anything is set in stone. I say that there is a possibility. I tap in sometimes to things that are happening in the world, especially when Susan and Drew ask me. And then, I usually hope the things that I'm seeing, at least the things that aren't so great, don't happen. but I truly believe that things can change. So yes.
So here are some things that jumped out at me that just reviewing it for the first time after many years. This is May of 2020, so we're in the early days of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things you said is gang violence will increase for the sake of gaining property. And I thought of the Venezuelan gangs.
Oh, interesting.
In Colorado that are being accused of things. And then you described some violence in cities and some vandalism.
Which is, that's like probably going to happen anyway, right?
But that was the summer. Wasn't that the summer of 2020? It was a few months later. It really, really took off.
You funded the police, remember?
Oh, yeah.
That was the Rose Floyd episode.
Mm.
You then went on, there's going to be a vaccine. It's going to come fast, but will only work on the elderly. Because I still use it on the elderly, but I'm very concerned about it being used on young people. I don't understand why we're doing it. But you said the trouble with the vaccine, they'll discover it does not take well to those with heart conditions. So that will be problematic.
Oh, wow.
I forgot about that.
Which I know, right? Which is what we've all been observing with the vaccine and the myocarditis in young people particularly. Then you go on to say, this is the part that really blew my mind. I feel there's going to be a drug that stops the symptoms completely. In other words, you don't eradicate the virus, you suppress the syndrome. It's interesting because this is Cindy's words. I can't quite understand how, I feel like it'll be some new emerging, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting because I can't quite understand how two drugs become one, but they filter onto one another or something like that. I think it works. That Paxlovid is 2 medication. It is 2 antivirals in 1 medication. So there you are. You take 2 of one antiviral with 1 of the other twice a day for 5 days. So, and that was a long time before Paxlovid came out.
Yeah.
That was like 2 years, I think, before we had that. And then you did this again in March of 2020, right? Remember? No, I'm sorry. You did a Susan reading in March of 2020. That was, I guess the first one was for me. You said there'll be a time where people will ask me to be involved in a documentary about the virus, which has happened multiple times now. You will work from home and from the studio, and new ideas and new hosting ideas and new sorts of projects out of that studio we've been doing. I went on, you sort of said some of the same stuff that you said in the previous one. But so you did it again in 2024. It's October.
Yeah.
So a year ago.
Remember the horseback one? What was that? No, I did that one where, remember? I don't remember, but I did one where I was like, I saw.
So you saw
people,
cops on horseback.
Or people, vigilantes on horseback, like coming into the street. I don't know. It's like, it's.
Could it be vigilantes using the horse paste medicine?
No, it was like riding horses with like vigilantes on horseback with guns. Like there's something like that, but
I don't know why I didn't pick that.
What was that?
I don't know. Wasn't there something in the border, the Canadian border, where there were vigilantes on horseback, or I can't remember, but it's
China will be not as much of an enemy as Russia will be. You said.
Oh yeah.
I saw a lot of Russia and Israel.
You said that the FDA will bring a new cancer drug forward that's revolutionary, but that some people won't tolerate it because their immune systems will not maintain health during treatment. And there's a whole class of stuff where that fits right now. Keytruda, you ever heard of that?
No.
That these kinds of immune modulatory medication, when they go bad, they go very bad. And when they work, they're miracle. So it's interesting.
Talked about whooping cough.
COVID will become so common we won't fear it after the next 2 years.
Did that in 2020, or is that the 2023?
Well, it says 2024, but it must be 2023 because this was not recent.
Oh yeah, this was like. Anyway, I mean, it's just.
But here's what interests me. This is the most interesting thing of all for me. And there's a lot of other stuff in here, obviously.
So Drew, here's something that she said, and this was in 2024. She said Biden.
No, this is before 2024, I think.
Yeah,
this is 2020.
Sure.
This is when I think I sent it to you, but it was
2023. It was like November.
Yeah. But let me tell you right at the top of that, you said there will be change in the course of the world. The United States will take advantage of other nations to make money and to sell off stocks and bonds that will change how money is transferred between nations. You heard about Trump's, Trump has actually floated the idea of eliminating income tax and charging other countries tariffs to replace that income. That would be insane if that happened. That's dramatically changing how money in other nations, and you said U.S. will take advantage of other nations, which sounds like that, to make money.
Can I go hide now? It's just like, it's so crazy.
There's a lot of Sydney going, I don't know what this means. I hope it's not true. Here's the horses. The horses could be a message. Here's this part.
Yeah.
Remember this?
And I just I always say to again, like anything, everything's a possibility, right? I can misinterpret. All those things can happen too. And I always, pray for the best for everyone. And yeah.
There's a lot of in Cindy going, I don't know what this means. I'm not sure what I'm saying. I hope this is true. There's a lot of that in here. But just like with the Paxlovid, you're like, I don't know what this means, but there's two meds in one. It's like, well, that's what it is.
How did you know?
All right, Susan, I'm going to give you your chair back.
Yeah, but I
Here you go.
her.
Take your chair. Take your chair.
She has.
No, you go to take the chair.
No, I wanted her to show you how she.
Oh, no. It's okay. I'll do it after. I can do it after.
Can you do
or
that?
Lauren, here, how about this? Susan, you sit here, and then Lauren, why don't you add some thoughts in about some things? And then what I was going to do is I was going to try to give Drew some energy here.
Drew an energy.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
He needs it.
My shoulders need it.
He's stuck.
Have fun.
So you guys can
That's
talk
true.
while I'm doing this. You don't have
shoot
to.
beams
Like,
at
you
Susan.
can talk. Lauren
Shoot
can
beams
talk.
at Susan, will you? Just make her
So yeah,
Disappear?
heal her
Continue on.
to heal me.
Disappear.
Okay.
My
Make her
shoulders are
disappear.
bad. My shoulders.
Here, put this in the other ear so
It's not right.
it's not hanging across.
And also tell Drew that blue mic isn't on. It's the other one.
Continue, Susan.
I can't hear anything.
The mic went off again. Hold on.
No, I don't.
This
It's.
mic?
Oh, I thought you
No, I'm
switched it.
good.
Never mind.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good. You're
No,
good.
we're good.
You're good,
We're
Susan.
We're good.
You're good.
She switched my ear. I can't tell which camera we are on. Is it that one?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, okay. So, yeah, come over towards me so we can see her in the.
Oh, well. I
No,
can
she's
still
doing
see
this
me.
on the DL.
Okay, that's
it's
good.
Okay. You continue with Lauren. I'm just gonna do this. Go ahead.
Okay. So, while Cindy is healing Drew,
Just-
you can tap into my
I'm just giving
inner
you
thoughts.
It'll take
So Susan, do you want me to do a reading for you? Anything you want me to talk about in particular, or?
Maybe Drew, he could use a little spiritual guidance.
I don't know if that's something. Let me just kind of, I guess I'll just kind of tune in here to both of you and see what starts to come forward for you too while Cindy's doing that. I mean, if you have any other questions, you can certainly let me know. Susan, I do want to come to you for a moment though, if I can, about some intuitive stuff I'm sensing here. I know we had done a bit of is this the right thing? You want me to just kind of go on intuition stuff right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful.
Absolutely. I'm open.
Okay, beautiful. I know you and I had done a little, reading of a loved one that stepped in, the last time we connected, but I wanted to, I feel as we're sitting down here, I want to talk about some intuitive stuff for you as well. As funny as we're talking with Paulina, because as I was working with Paulina, I kept seeing you also. I don't know if there's been a lot of writing in your life or publishing as well, but I feel like there's some form, I don't want to call it a memoir because I don't know that quite feels like the right title, but I feel like there's starting to become a concept of some writing and sharing from your side as well about some of the different things you've experienced. And I almost sense that may come from a bit of the spiritual format, kind of what it's like to be on the outside, moving through this world and moving through some of the things that you've learned and done or experienced through different folks that you've met along the way. So that may have a bit of that. And I feel like there's a bit of a teaching element to it as well. Perhaps sharing some pieces where you're feeling like you've been inspired in your own way to bring these adjustments into your life. And I feel like this is happening in 2025, that this really starts to flow out of you, if it hasn't already started, in a way to do that also. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of excited because I feel like it doesn't change the endeavor that you're on now, working with the podcast and other things, but I feel like it gives you a different personal piece of your own that seems to step out here, that really gives you like a sense of your own voice in its full form coming forward. So I'm really feeling excited about that endeavor for you, and to see where some minor collaborations that might come in with that as well.
Okay. Right.
Any questions around?
I'm not much of a writer. I need Paulina to be my ghostwriter. Sure.
Well, you may have that as well. I often feel like there's a lot of people who say they can't write, but you birthed a writer, so it's in you somewhere.
I did birth one. Yeah. She's amazing.
She's a sweet soul. My God, I'm so excited to have connected with her a bit today. And I do feel like there is also a gentleman I want to connect you to. This does not feel like the similar man that we worked with the other day. So if you're open to that, I'd like to bring this forward. Sure. So wait a second.
My pleasure.
I think I got a bit confused earlier to who Morty. So Morty, that's Drew's father. Is that right?
Drew's father, yes.
Okay, perfect. So Drew, I don't know if you got some of that message in there earlier from your dad, but I feel like this is not the same guy. And so I want to understand if either of you two maybe understand this gentleman that wants to step in. But I have a gentleman that I feel leans a little bit toward you, Susan, here. I get the feeling that he passed in a bit more toward his older times, also like a 70s, perhaps 80s. And I always say wiggle room. If I'm off by 30 years, we're off. But if it's just, a small amount of decade based on how they
hold you
look.
to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hold me to some of that, right? Because we want it to be as accurate as it can be. I also feel like I'm dressed in very much like a sport coat. And I feel like he had, this is a very strange feeling, Susan. But I don't know if he had struggles falling, holding himself up at the end. But I feel like there's some kind of a physical fall that may have caused, like sometimes when an older person falls and kind of hurts their hip, it almost triggers the passing. And I'm feeling like there was some physical issues similar to that, where his body's, his legs aren't holding him up anymore. He's giving me kind of this, tripping vibe. And then I feel like I'm I'm now feeling ready to transition or to make my way to the spirit world. Do you see that make sense to
Okay.
someone you understand?
Not me. How about you, Drew?
1,000 of those.
Is that Morty?
No, I've just treated so many.
Those are all
So
his
that's happened
patients.
too.
Oh, well, as a doctor,
Am I-
you run into a, I feel
Yeah,
like
I could
this
see
comes-
that happening.
Okay, so just to be clear though, you two, I feel like I want to come close to the family here. I believe, or someone that we might know. So
Say
you're
no.
being attention by, and I like the smell of your
No,
hands.
no, no, you don't have to feel anything.
So, not yet.
Do you feel
No.
relaxed?
I do feel relaxed.
beautiful.
Sometimes it's just relaxing too.
So, okay. So can you be,
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I can jump back in with some more for sure. The first thing I want to talk about, I believe, is a T name, like a Tim or Tom, that might have some significance around this gentleman, living or departed. And I'm not trying to give this to you, Dr. Drew, but I feel like for some reason, Susan, I
had a step grandfather, Ted.
Who did? Which one?
I did. Step
Oh, you did?
grandfather,
Okay.
Ted.
Okay. I feel like he's leaning on you. That's why I'm like, I could give this to Drew, but I feel like he's leaning on you. And was he an older gentleman when he passed, Susan? Did you know your and did you have a relationship with this man?
I mean, I knew he was my step grandfather. Like, I never met my real grandfather, my grandmother's husband.
Okay, good.
I just
He
want to make
died
sure
young.
as a step relationship, you're okay to connect with him, that he's someone you're happy to work in with and receive.
Sure.
And just sometimes they bring in a message that they want to share or healing that they may want to offer. But the first thing I sensed here, was he that older? Was he in that 70s, 80s age range as well when he passed?
Yes.
Okay.
He died before my grandmother.
Okay. And do you understand him feeling very heavy? I want to kind of maybe go back to some of the evidence and make that a little bit easier. He felt very heavy in his legs. So I don't know if he was able to walk in the end of his life or they're congestive heart issues, but I feel like he shows swollen legs. And that's where I was perceiving a sense of fall and struggle. Do you know if that was something that was an issue?
Well, my dad had congestive heart failure.
We just don't know about Ted.
Ted, but I know my grandmother fell, and then that's how she died. Like her
so
death
we might be blending
was
them a little
centered
bit.
around
Okay.
a fall. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
So
sense. That's why I was
Ted
thinking
is-
of.
Yeah, sometimes we get a little bit of the two of them communicating at the same time, right? So Ted is the husband to the grandmother who had the fall at the end. Okay.
Yes.
And I don't ever like to make assumptions, but I have a stepdad. He's pretty cool. I feel these two show a sense of love with each other. Do you see that? Did they get along okay?
Does this matter?
Wait, say that again. I was watching.
I know. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I'll give Susan.
Say it again. Say that again.
No, sometimes
okay.
it just makes you relax.
So I feel like these two got along well with each other, Susan. Is that true?
Oh,
The
yeah.
stepfather?
They were together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's almost a sense of being in spirit, a bit of that inseparable energy, like, together,
Right.
they seem very together. But if it's your mother or your grandmother, your mother who passed with the hip issue, yes, then
My grandmother.
Your grandmother. Okay. Then I want to connect here, and hopefully you knew her well, because the sense of the fall, I need to speak of when that fall happened. I feel like she wants me to talk about the peace she now felt being able to transition. But I hope the reason I'm saying I hope is that there was a good relationship here, because I feel like she wants to share love with you, and
nice.
kind of put a bit of an arm around your shoulders to let you know, I've always got you. I feel like she's always got your back. Do you know that she was that kind of person?
She's been coming through a lot lately. She didn't before, but when she was, she was like 95, and they put her in a home, and then I talked to her, right before when she ended up in the home, and she was very alone, and I had 3 kids. I had 3 little kids at the time. I lived in California, and she was in Ohio, and she fell, and she was she felt loneliness, and I called her, and, just to see how she was doing. And it was the first time I ever heard her cry. She was crying on the phone, and just like, she's like, I'm alone. This is so hard. I don't know what's going on. And I was just like, what do I do? I didn't know what to do. But I did feel a lot of sadness and remorse for the fact that I couldn't be there for her.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the message that's coming through, is to tell me to not feel
Well, first thing I would definitely say, don't feel any remorse because she's okay. Again, the way she connects to this Tom is from love. So I hope you know that they are reunited in that way. But this kind of reminds me a little bit of what I felt with Naomi's grandmother similarly, is that she's the guardian to you. She's the one who's looking over you and kind of giving you some inspiration flow and really, again, taking care
She
of
was the strong
of your
woman in the
back.
family, like Naomi's grandmother, and she had even though she wasn't super well educated and well read, she was the matriarch of the family. And,
Beautiful.
and she had really made a good life for herself. She considered herself a businesswoman. So
Well, she was very. You guys are a lot alike.
She fought a lot of storms and she made it through. So
Yeah.
And she's my father's mother, so
Okay.
she is super strong. But I appreciate you bringing her through for me. That makes me happy. She's been coming through a lot lately. Weirdly enough, like every time I sit down, they're like, "Your grandmother's here," and I'm like, "Wow, she wasn't here a lot in the before."
Yeah. It was
Always
usually
my
mom and Mort and who else?
And
Usually, right?
Mort and my mom and
yeah.
maybe Helene occasionally, but
Yeah.
my dad's. They're very quiet people, but I think she took a long time for transition or something because I really wanted to talk to her at the beginning and I couldn't get through.
Well,
But
can I add
yes,
a little
thank you.
Can I just add one little tiny thing if we have a moment? So I have, Cindy and I, we were just talking about this over the weekend. Like I have a grandfather that passed years ago that I was, of all my spirit family, the most close to. And it's been well over 30 years he's been there and I've never gotten a message. However, I think what it is too is I have the most peace with him and of all the people who I know in spirit. Like I feel as I was 16 when he died, I was by his side, I was taking care of him, and I feel like I have the most peace around that. And so sometimes I feel like if they know that we're kind of at peace, I don't know that they always feel like, let me nudge in and do the healing because you're good. Whereas like my dad and I had different struggles. So my dad's always communicating, and I think that has a lot to do with how the spirit heals. And some of the ones that need more healing in their work with us in life may come through more than the ones who feel like we're good. Don't worry, I'm here. So I think she say I'm here, but I'm good.
But I always identified with her, and I always, I had, my parents weren't perfect, but I always had this fantasy that she was, but no, and I was named after her, and Paulina was named after her as well. So the fact that she's here that's meaningful. So
yeah,
but I appreciate that. I really do. And it is kind of consoling. I hope I am fortunate enough to have a long life like she did. And, she lived into her 90s. So I'm hoping that I can do the same so that I can meet my grandchildren and be with my grandchildren. And I did spend time with her. So I did experience that. She's the only grandparent that I had that lived that I knew as a child. So, into my 30s. So, and I visited her with Paulina, as a matter of fact, and saw her before she passed. So when she was in her 80s, she was shooting deer with a bow and arrow until she was 85. So she was a tough bitch.
That's awesome.
That's pretty incredible.
She was
right?
the Czech, one of those Czech, hardcore. She's like, I am an athlete. And I guess that's where I got it. I have strong muscles. Seriously. And then she'd go out on a hunting expedition and shoot deer with a bow and arrow and then come home and they'd cut up the meat and she'd make dinner. I mean, literally, that was their thing. So from a family of hunters, they love the guns. So, but I appreciate that. I appreciate it. My grandmother has made an appearance on Calling Out.
Yep.
So Drew was denying your energy skills.
I don't know if he was denying it. I think it made him feel relaxed, which is nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, he was drifting off there for a second.
And I know that this is kind of I want to come full circle, but Cindy has had weird things. She does this automatic writing, which is totally amazing. But she said that she's having these kind of experiences about aliens. And I'm just since we started this whole thing up out with an alien skit. As a psychic medium, you believe that the United States government knows that there are aliens,
Well,
right?
I mean,
We know they know.
I mean, I just believe we know they know. Yeah,
public
but
news.
you know what? Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that lately I've been talking to a lot of mediums. Lauren, can I include you in this bunch
Please.
of mediums?
Yep. Yep.
I've been talking to a lot of mediums, and everyone seems to be having more like alien communication, and I've never really been one to try to communicate with aliens. It's just never part of my I don't know thing, you know. And so I was in a meditation like a couple of months ago, and then I was like, oh shit, the aliens are here. Oh wow, this is like, it was so intense, right? And so I got like this information, and I heard this message of like, oh, a lot of people have it wrong because they think all of us are coming in ships, but we're coming as a frequency. And it's going to be like telepathic.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Oh, my mic is off. Is my mic off?
Again?
Yeah, it's the wrong
Shit.
mic. Yeah, you're talking to the other mic.
Oh, I need that mic.
Push the red button's on. Okay.
Can you hear me still?
Is that better?
We've been hearing you, yeah.
We can hear you, but talk into the other
Can
one.
you hear me? Oh, look, now it's like singing. Okay, it's like I'm
Much
like
better.
doing karaoke.
This mic's
Okay,
it's
I'll just
an
hold this.
alien frequency shutting your mic off.
Well, so anyway, so that was
Mom.
like it was part of the message, and then I was like, this is so interesting.
So crazy.
And then after that,
Okay, so it's a frequency that like our brains are connected somehow to alien like life, or it's not. But I mean, why are they seeing like objects in the air and stuff?
No, I think that that's part of it too. I think like you know, I'm not saying that that's not part of it, but I feel like a lot of everything is actually sound and frequency. That's my personal opinion. I can't completely explain that, but
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to start having these experiences that feel like telepathic, or it's going to be like in their heads, and they're going to be very confused by it, you know? And then so I had this experience, and I was like, this feels so crazy. I've never really communicated with aliens like that before. What's happening? And so then I reached out to a couple other of my friends that are mediums, and I was like, hey, this is what happened. They're like, oh my God, that just happened to me last week. And so now I've been on this like kind of mission to ask as many mediums as possible, like, hey, have you had this uptick in alien communication? And most of us have. And even crazier, it was like 2 weeks after it was in that meditation, I went to this paranormal convention in Wisconsin. I'm sitting at my booth, because, you know, you sell things at your booth. And this woman comes up to me and she goes like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm not going to say her name, but she's like, you know, she goes, I wasn't even going to come to this convention because, you know, I just wasn't really, you know, on my list of things to do. She goes, but the aliens told me to come talk to you and say, can we talk about the aliens? And I like nearly fell out of my chair. I was like, what is going on? So Lauren, like, what's your experience? Like what? Yeah.
Well, I mean, loosely what I would say as Cindy knows, I've traveled also to some pretty far off places in this world, and Peru being one of them, where there's a lot of ET energy. I think they've always been a part of our culture. I think they've always been here for centuries. I think when we travel some of these ancient sites, we're seeing, you know, there's an Egypt temple, the Temple of Osiris, that actually has a hieroglyph that's thousands of years old, where you can see a spaceship and you can see a helicopter and everything imprinted on it. So I definitely think these are energies that have been a part of our society, our life, and our consciousness for a very long time. I definitely think, though, we're seeing this uptick in the communication, as Cindy says, a little bit more telepathic, or other people who are channeling these energies. I've had moments where things have come through my work as well from their voice. And I do think they're here to help us, to guide us, and to bring, hopefully, the world back to the place of the heart, and not this exterior world that we're living in, because I think their consciousness is more elevated than the human consciousness at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that explain that?
I agree.
A little bit?
But it's more of a vibration than actual beings. Like,
well, I think it's like this too. It's like people talk about Bigfoot. They talk about all these things, right? Like why do some people see Bigfoot and other people don't? I think Bigfoot's an interdimensional being. I think they're like that. That's kind of the thing. Like if you're tapped into spirit or frequency and you're tapped into that frequency, you're going to see those things. If you're not, then maybe you won't. So and seeing is a clairvoyant experience. So, right. So like some things might manifest as an image to people because they're more clairvoyant, and they experience the spirit world or these beings through pictures. Others might be more clairaudient, which is the hearing. So they're going to get the downloads through, it sounds like you're talking to yourself in your mind, but it's not you, right? Some people feel. So there are all these different ways that psychics, mediums, people feel these frequencies. So I think that all of the things are entirely possible, and you will perceive these frequencies, like in the way that is best suited for you at the time. But I just thought it was super interesting that all of these mediums have been like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to aliens more now. I'm like, what's going on? They're here.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, I mean, you're more attuned to what's going on, and there's like some theories that there is another universe, and that it's sort of like how we have the iCloud. They say, that this is not something new, where everything gets uploaded to somewhere, that we're being, we're all sort of in this together. There's actually another alien life iCloud where everything, we're connected on some level. And maybe that's also has something to do with the way our ancestors come back and communicate with us. Maybe they're in some kind of level of this iCloud universe in between, and they can work through your brain because your brain is more conducive to that. You have more of a right brain than a left brain, because some people say that, people that are like ambidextrous have better psychic abilities and stuff.
Oh, well, okay.
Are you
Interesting.
ambidextrous?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but learn
But
how
what
to
I was
write
going to
with both
say
hands.
well, Lauren just got possessed. Did you hear
Yeah.
that?
Lauren just got possessed. The
Oh, what
mics
happened?
are acting up.
Oh,
See, it's aliens. No,
Fucking
just kidding.
aliens, I swear to God.
But what I was going to say is like a lot
It
of
happened to Jack put with that guy named Jack Pozoziak's mic yesterday. He was being infiltrated by aliens during our show. So I guess that means that since her mic is kind of...
Is it time to go? Is that it?
Yeah, it's telling us something. No, but I love your theories. I love it. I love your mind. I love the way that you use your mind for good, and you look into these types of things. You're not closed to it. You're not afraid of it. I mean, when you wrote the automatic writing for us, I was just like, God, this is so dark. Like, how I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, But I remember when you were in my pool house, and we thought we had a ghost out there. All the other psychics were afraid to sleep out there, and Cindy was like, I don't have a problem with it.
I'd do it.
So, Kaleb, I think Lauren's mic has just been taken over by my mother.
I hear Lauren.
We're not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're all scratchy too.
It's time to go.
So it's something with
That's what
your internet.
happens.
Yep, must be time.
My internet? Yeah, it must be
'cause she's
time.
clear over
So
here.
I'm just. It's clear. Okay, so it's just coming through our mic system, which, oh God. But anyways, we have a couple of mics really close together here, so you never know. Yeah, so I want to just tell everybody that Lauren Rainbow is available for psychic reading at laurenrainbow.com. It's pretty straightforward. You can find her on Instagram at Lauren Rainbow Medium, on Facebook at Lauren Rainbow Medium, and YouTube Lauren Rainbow. Do you have a YouTube channel or YouTube show that you do there? Or?
Yeah, just Lauren Rainbow.
Okay, and then also Pinterest. She has a Pinterest, Lauren Rainbow Medium.
I wouldn't worry
Yeah,
about
if you
that
want to
one
get a
as
reading. So yeah, reach out to her if you want to give a nice gift for Christmas to one of your loved ones who needs closure or just wants to pick me up to be told that they're wonderful people by their grandparents and there's love around them. Give her, she's very helpful. She did tap into my friend when I lost him recently. And I'm not going to tell anybody who it is because it's not somebody everybody knows. And I was pleasantly surprised that I got to talk to him again. And she's the real deal. So, and we will have you back again soon. And as well, Cindy Kaza, Medium Cindy Kaza, Instagram Cindy Kaza, website mediumcindykaza.com. I mean, you just Google her; she'll pop up everywhere.
Everywhere.
She's, yeah, and we'll and my daughter, of course, make sure you get writing from her. And Brian had to drop off because Naomi took more time than we expected. But I'm really happy she did because she was like, "Oh, how long do I have to do this? What am I going to do?" We couldn't get rid of her. That always happens. But yeah, we really tapped into some good people there. A fun
And I think there goes her internet. Right on time. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for coming up to the show. I think that Susan is now gone, so I'm going to close this show out with a happy Halloween. Thank you for showing up, Lauren. And
Thank you.
see you guys next time. Bye.
I'm excited to bring you a new product, a new supplement, Fatty. I take it. I make Susan take it. My whole family takes it. This comes out of, believe it or not, dolphin research. The Navy maintains a fleet of dolphins, and a brilliant veterinarian recognized that these dolphins sometimes developed a syndrome identical to our Alzheimer's disease. Those dolphins were deficient in a particular fatty acid. She replaced the fatty acid, and they didn't get the Alzheimer's. Humans have the same issue, and we are more deficient in this particular fatty acid than ever before. And a simple replacement of this fatty acid called C15 will help us prevent these syndromes. It's published in a recent journal called Metabolites. It's a new nutritional C15, pentadecanoic acid it's called. The deficiency that we are developing for C15 creates something called the cellular fragility syndrome. This is the first nutritional deficiency syndrome to be discovered in 75 years and may be affecting us in many ways, and as many as 1 in 3 of us. This is an important breakthrough. Take advantage of it. Go to fatty15.com/Dr. Drew to receive 15% off a 90-day starter kit subscription, or use code Dr. Drew at checkout for that 15% off, or just go to our website, drdrew.com/fatty15.